Hey everyone, I'm Hotep, the goddess astrologer and alchemical initiatrix. We are getting into the magnanimous Sagittarius full moon that is happening on June 3rd, 2023. So we have a great week leading up to this full moon and this peeking out of the illumination of the moon and this opposition to the sun. We're going to get into all the astrology. If you're new here, I do the sun sign horoscopes in the second part of this video and go into the sun sign, the astrology for each sun sign, and do card pulls and an oracle reading for each sun sign and get deep into your personal astrology, how this is affecting you. Make sure to watch your rising and your sun. Your sun is a solar chart and your rising is your birth chart. And so the combination of the two gives you a lot of clarity around the areas of your life that this moon is affecting and other transits that I will mention. So we have some really positive things going on in the astrology, and massive new things are taking place. New energies are really beginning, and some of the planets are speeding up. Things are just moving into some really great new breakthrough energies after all that we've been through in the last few years. So I'm going to get into all of that. If you don't know me, I am a professional astrologer and a master soul coach. I've helped hundreds of women heal past life shadow, trauma, and old wounds to reclaim their power and make more money and make a big impact in the world. This channel, like Goddess YouTube, is here for divine feminine soulpreneurs, wild, audacious, feminine soulpreneurs, visionary women entrepreneurs, visionary women creatives, wild women creatives. So you've made it to the right place if you're a woman here and doing massive big things in the world, wanting to make your amazing dreams come true, wanting to live the lifestyle that you really want. So that's what this channel is about. I do the full moon and new moon videos every single month. So hit the subscribe button now so that you can be notified of every update that I do. There's chapters on this video, so I really encourage you to watch this first part of the downloads from my guides and the information that's wanting to come through about the astrology for this moon. And also you can go to the chapters and go right to your rising sign and your sun sign. So we'll get into this moon. I pulled a gene key for this moon, and I want to share that with you. If you don't know about gene keys, you can go to genekeys.com and find out all about them. There's so much beautiful work there. And I'm going to change the ink. The amazing thing about gene keys is they really help us to understand astrology. I teach astrology and Light Goddess, my monthly online experience with me, where you can learn your astrology, really step into higher levels of empowerment together in female community. And I teach, and you can get coached by me live. And I teach you how to understand your astrology. And here's the amazing thing about gene keys is that we have the shadow, what's in red. And then we have what the creator of Gene Keys calls the gift. But you could say, the next level of consciousness. You could say coming out of the shadow, like what you learn from handling the shadow. And then the city, which is this Buddhist term for the Sanskrit term for city. It's a Sanskrit term, or does it come out of Buddhism? I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, but the creator of Gene Keys calls it that. But basically, you can think of the highest benevolent essence, the highest essence infused with light. So you can think of it just really simply like that. But when we go through the gift and the journey, then we have these awakenings to this higher level of consciousness, and that's what this blue is here. And I asked, there's a button on the Gene Keys website where you can just go and basically have an oracle, and it gives you a random gene key. And I asked for one with Sag, and here we are, mutable fire Sagittarius, and the Sagittarius full moon. And the shadow is force on this gene key, and it's saying that the banes of trying, like forcing, trying, pushing. And as a woman, that a masculine mind and the masculine mental strategizing and way of the world that has been forced upon us by industrial fascists, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, work really hard, all of these programs that I hope you are deprogramming from within your consciousness, don't work in a woman's feminine energy. They just don't work for us. That's not how we function. We spiral, we flow. And also be aware that, you know, if you're a woman with the Aries moon, you're not going to necessarily feel very very connected to feminine energy as who you are in the stereotypical way. But feminine is what's feminine to you always, of course. And then we look at strength is the gift. So when we're forcing things, when we're just trying to make it happen instead of allowing for the flow, inspired action, the creativity, like trusting our creative process. I find for women I work with that this is a journey that we go on to trust the joy and to trust our creative process, that it will lead us to the money, the goals, the accomplishment, all the things that we think we're wanting, and that we cultivate the strength within us by going through this, by going through the extremes of trying to push and get there and hustle and all of that kind of energy, and realizing it's just not working for us, and it's actually not allowing us to be in the moment, living our life, enjoying the moment, enjoying our life. It's this destination focus of the patriarchal dominator culture world, the old paradigm that we're exhuming and excavating, this old dominator model of society, destination focus. And it just doesn't work for feminine energy. And we build strength going through this journey, like going from one extreme to the other until we finally balance out more into the middle, until we find the way that we work. Often what we are looking at as a problem is actually our process, but the world out there said that, no, that's not the right way to do it. And we internalize that message. And so we think our process is wrong and a problem, when actually maybe it's our beautiful process. You know, one of my processes is just curating a lot of information from my own self and from my own channeling and from elsewhere. And then it's sometimes I feel so overwhelmed by the amount of information I have on one creative project I'm working on. And I've really been going through the journey of allowing it not to be a problem and instead be my process, where sometimes I never look at that again. It was just part of the journey to get to the end destination of integrating ideas within my own soul to be able to present them and say them. And so don't let your process, your creative, the creative way you work, the unique way you organize or creatively create something in the world, let that be amazing and beautiful. And don't let the outside voices tell you that that's wrong. I saw this movie once where they were creating a podcast and they had these glass dividers, like in a cubicle office setting, right? But they were glass, and so you could write on them with a whiteboard marker, and you could also put like post-its up and everything. And they had these storyboards where they put all these post-its, different colors, you know, different categories, and it was neatly organized, and yet it was very artistic and colorful and beautiful. And it really spoke to like my Pisces and my Virgo energy. And it was like somebody else would say like, that's a mess, it's crazy, whatever. And it's like, no, this is the way we need to storyboard this big, massive project that we're working on to understand the pieces that we're doing. So let your process be beautiful and love your process, like honor the way you do things. And it really creates strength to move through this. And then there's this majesty where there's just, you know, epiphany meets majesty, like this majestic, which is very Sagittarius vibe. Majestic, magnanimous. You know, I named this full moon magnanimous because that's that Jupiterian energy of just the hyperbolic, the so big, like the gregarious energy, happy and let's make things bigger. Let's go to the party and let's go out. And it's that kind of energy. And so you can also understand the signs in this way, where each sign has their shadow. Going through the shadow always has this gift in this journey where we're learning and creating wisdom, which is Sagittarius. And then we get to this higher conscious, essence that's more in the Neptunian highest consciousness realm of epiphany and awakening and so forth. So stop sharing this. I thought that was an amazing gene key to pull up, very Sagittarian. This full moon is highlighting, full moons are always opposition to the sun. Full moons are always this grand illumination, this peaking of the moon's energy each month. And it's the ultimate illumination. It's coming to that culmination in a way of the peak, the climax, the summit of the mountain. And the Sagittarius energy that we're leading up to all weeks, I'm putting this out on like Monday or Tuesday. And this moon is happening June 3rd, Saturday. And so we're feeling this intensity, this magnification of all of our emotions, the moon, this magnification of how we've been feeling. So it depends on where you're at on your journey. Have you been doing all of the inner work and the shadow work? How have you been provoked? How is that going for you? Because that's really going to be a lot about how you experience this. Because there's the shadow of Sag is this rigid, dogmatic, very this the shadow of Sag can be like very rigid and set in its ways, dogmatic, very self-righteous, and very much thinking that it's the only one with the truth, and that this is the truth and this is the way to do it and this is the only way. And so look into your own psyche, because we all have 12 signs in our chart. We all work with all of these archetypes. We're all doing this work, though some of us are more Sag heavy than others, right? And so we all like want to know something. We all want to have expertise, which is a very Sag ninth house Jupiterian idea and energy and vibe of like having your own expertise. And as a woman, as a business owner in the world, you have your expertise and your knowledge that you are selling, and that you are offering the world to uplift humanity and help people to grow, expand, to evolve. And so you must stand as an expert in your business and in your life. But we get off track when we don't see from all understandings that there's many paths to truth, that truth is not the same truth moment to moment to moment, that there's context, not just content. Like this is just this one truth. Rarely can you say this one thing and it's always applicable. And we have to realize that wisdom is Sag, it's a very Sagittarius thing, but Jupiter is about, wherever Jupiter is in your chart. So like, if you look at your natal birth chart, find where Jupiter is in your chart. Like that's the guru. That's you being the guru of that sign and house. And that it's a journey to get there, because you have to experience things to gain that wisdom, because wisdom is not from knowledge. Wisdom is knowledge plus experience, plus humility, plus compassion. And so it's the journey that we go on, which is very Jupiterian and Sagittarian, where it's the traveler, the nomad, the gypsy, the adventurer, going out on long distance. Like, I'm going to go to a foreign country and I'm going to walk this trail, or I'm going to go to a foreign country and I'm just going to travel around many countries in Europe and backpack, or I'm going to go to all of the island resorts and take this big trip, or I'm going to go surfing, the endless summer where summer never ends, and go around the world surfing all of these spots. It's the adventure. And Mark Twain has this quote that is, travel is fatal to ignorance. I love this quote because you can insert not just travel, but insert, learning, expansion, growth, insert other terms to understand that, like, we all have these places of ignorance within us. And are we willing to to look at them and not have a problem with them. And that's that Gemini energy, that opposite energy, where the sun is ingressed into Gemini. We are in Gemini season, and that's the opposite energy to the Sag. And we always want to look at both polarities. And that Gemini is like embracing many different experiences of life, and it's willing to not know, because it's like, what do you think about this? It's looking for how you see it and how other people are viewing things. It embraces, very versatile, and embraces different ways of seeing things. And because it understands the Sag principle that there's many pathways to truth, and each person has to find their own pathway there. What's truth for you and the way that you came about it is not going to be the way it is for someone else. And so we have to look at these superiorities within ourselves, and like identify them within the culture, like understand that superiority issue, which this full moon has really been illuminating for a long time. And this has really been up in the culture for a long time. And why? I'm going to show you this in the chart, that we talk about the nodes of fate, the nodes of the moon all the time, but the planets also have nodes. So this is the node of the moon, the north node and the south node, in that Taurus Scorpio axis that we've been talking about for a long time, like 18 months. They're going to change out in July 18th to the Aries Libra axis. And I've already been talking a lot about that because it's a big deal. But the planets all have a north node and south node too. And so if you look at this little miniature Pluto, he's so cute. For everyone has the south node of Pluto in Capricorn, which is talking about where, the patriarchal dominator culture we've lived in for 5,000 years. And the time before that was a different time that we lived in, of goddess culture times where women were revered, men and women lived in equality. It's where all of our modern technology comes from, like indoor plumbing and paved roads and architecture comes from the goddess culture times, the Neolithic and the Paleolithic times, when women were revered and honored and the goddess was worshipped and men and women lived in equality. And it's not to go back to a time where it was like that. It's to, if you look at the north node of Pluto in Cancer, associated with the mother and the feminine, and so if you look at the Cancer Capricorn axis, it's just very much that masculine, feminine, archetype, and the father and the mother, and these ideas. But with south node, we always paint it more negatively, and depending on what we're doing with it, but usually we're painting it more negatively because it's showing us like where the shadow is. It's just showing us where the shadow is, and the shadow of our culture that we're moving away from, that we're all shedding that from within our psyche. We're scrubbing it out of our souls. And so with the superiority issue, we have to realize that this culture has taught us the superlatives. So we've been trained and conditioned, and you can try to think that it didn't get in you, but you grew up in this culture. Believe me, you've internalized these messages of the superlatives, the best, better, greatest. But that's the thing, is like we all grew up trying to be better than everybody else and trying to be the greatest and trying to be the best. We were really taught some very distorted ideas of competition. Competition is healthy. Like, you want to play the person that's better than you. You want to have people that are smarter than you in your business, because it levels you up and makes you better. Like, that's the correct, right, natural Sagittarius form of competition. And the reason for it existing is to make yourself better, to touch at the edge of your own greatness. So I want to introduce this concept to you. And this is a concept that I teach on in Light Goddess. And it's about your own greatness, that we're taught the superlatives of better, best, greatest. We grow up trying to be better than everybody else. It's in the culture. It's all over social media. It's the Hollywood thing where it's always this trying to outdo somebody or outmoney somebody or outlook somebody. And it's like, what about your own greatness? Because when you're caught up in that, you're not caught up in actually pushing the edge of what you're capable of, like what is possible for you, like the greatness that you have the possibility of bringing into this world. and helping humanity with, and evolving your own soul with, and just blowing your own mind, like seeing what you're capable of. And so we're often like always so caught up in being better than others, or putting the pictures on, social media, or saying we did this big thing. But like, are you actively engaged with your own greatness? And as a woman, I promise you that most likely you have not even made contact with your feminine genius. And I teach on this in Light Goddess. Light Goddess is open June 1st. There's a link below if you want to check it out and come join us. It's a monthly live experience where you can get coached by me live. You'll be learning your own personal astrology and learning these concepts that will help empower you, because when you're empowered, then there's nothing you can't accomplish. The money you want to make, the dreamy relationships, the amazing creative projects that you want to complete and make into a real thing in this life, there's nothing you can't do if you're empowered. And so come join Light Goddess. The link is below. But this is this thing that our feminine genius, where most women grow up with no one actually being curious about what you think about something, and you having to try to fit yourself into a pretzel to try to fit into some group so that you can make sure you get into some doors, so you can make sure you get into some income or some job, so you can make sure you survive. So we've had these really crazy survival maladaptations coming up as women in these Western cultures. And we've internalized so many messages that it's about having the family and having the kids and having the perfect job and having these ducks in a row. And this is like what life is, but that's not what life is. Life is evolution. And when you begin looking at it from a different vantage point, that you don't have to have kids if you're a woman and you don't want kids. I don't want kids. I don't want to fucking take care of kids. Are you kidding me? That is a lot of work. Not me. And I mean, I've taught 2 kids how to ride their bikes. I do not want that in this life. I've done that in past lives. Nope. Like, my life is for me and for the people I'm here to serve, you, and to bring amazing value to this world, and to keep blowing my own mind with my own greatness. Our greatness is going to be different, and we can all touch the edge and keep pushing the edge and keep pushing the edge and keep pushing the edge of our own greatness. And I promise you, you will never get to the end of your greatness, but it can be a lifelong, amazing journey to keep pushing the edge of your greatness and trying to find out where it's at, trying to find out what you are capable of creating in this world. Because growing up, most likely you didn't get the chance to really find out. You maybe didn't get opportunities to find out unless they fit into consensus status quo boxes. I mean, maybe you're on the swim team, or maybe you're, a gymnast or something like this. But it's like, those are the status quo, clearly defined boxes that you found out about through growing up in this culture. But what about what's in your heart? Sagittarius is about the adventure. Like, what have you always longed to do? Swim with sharks, go on this wild, crazy adventure overseas, go to places you've never been. These are the things that grow you. You want these things for a reason. They expand you. We have to realize that we're coming out of this Capricorn, distorted Saturn way of being, especially in the United States, which pushes the agenda to the rest of the world very much. It tries to make the rest of the world in its image, and like trying to push capitalism and push that it's about business and it's about all these things. And I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10 years old. I've been in business from a very young child. So I've always been an entrepreneur and been in this world and been in online business since 2010 or a little bit before, and exploring this world. And so even coming, that being very much, a part of my soul and my journey and what I love, it's also very much a part of like the creation that I create. The medium for it might not be entrepreneurship if we lived in a different world. 100 years from now, it might be a different medium that my creativity would take place in, because of the way the world is set up. Does that make sense of how, entrepreneurship is the medium that allows me to have the liberation and the freedom to bring my creativity to the world and push the edge of my greatness. But in another time and space, it might be a different medium. I have a cold, so this is probably going to be a part of this video. So so just like Sagittarius, the shadow is this superiority complex. And you know, when somebody has one, they're haughty, they think they're better than you, they're always saying everybody's dumb, everybody's an idiot, everybody's an idiot. It's just like everybody's dumb. They're self-righteous, they're self-gratifying, gratifying all the time. Gratificating, yes, that's it. All the time. And there's like, I'm the king of the mountain and I'm the best. It's like so clearly obvious their inferiority issue. Here's the thing, you don't have to go tell everybody about where you feel inferior, but I encourage you to not sweep it underneath the rug and to look at where you feel inferior within yourself, because this is going to guide you monumentally to your greatness, to you being able to continue to live a lifestyle that pushes the edge of your greatness on a regular basis. I mean, like, think about the lifestyle that you want to live. It's very sixth house. It's like, how do I want to live? Because we were sold so many ideas of what life is, but it's like, what's the creation of the life that you really want? Like I, told you, like, I want to have an adventure for my life, and I'm very adventurous, and I don't want to be stuck, raising kids. Like, that's just not my thing. And if I had them, like, of course I'd love them and want to be with them all the time, no. And also, like, there's other things too, that's like, that are just like these consensus status quo ideas that they're just not for me to live in that way of like my life being confined to like a work every day type of thing. Instead of like being on the adventure, I can work from anywhere because I have an online business. I have a location independent business on purpose because I don't want to be stuck to one location. And I want to be on the adventure and traveling when and wherever I feel called. And so it's like really thinking about the adventure with this Sag full moon. Like, let this full moon highlight where you've been stuffing down what you really desire in life. And how are you telling yourself that you can't? If you're doing that, come into Light Goddess, because we're going to work with those thoughts and stop indulging in thoughts that make you a victim and make you powerless. Like, I can't because of this. I can't because of that. I can't because of this. How can you take one step today towards living the life you really want to live? And so another thing to think about with this is that you have to step in to being the creator of your life. And I talked about this in the last video about you being a piece of art yourself, and step into like creating yourself and your being and being on this healing journey, because we're on this for the rest of our lives. Like, we're in the time of the great healing. We're being provoked by the planets. And my God, the last 3 years, like, wow, last year with all the retrograde planets at once, like almost nearly 8 planets retrograde at once, Venus moving through her underworld cycle. So we really want to capitalize on all of this growth and internal deep dive that we did last year with the energies coming up, because Venus is going to move into the solar feminine sign of Leo this summer in retrograde there. Mars is currently in Leo and had this opposition to Pluto, which 2 weekends ago brought up a lot of, where do you feel stuck to creatively self-actualize? Like, where do you feel like you can't get your creativity in the world and you can't do the big things that you want to do? Like, this is like that Mars and Pluto interacting with each other. And so realize that when you're stepping onto the stage of your creative self-actualization in this world, that when you are being assertive for the first time, that's going to feel like aggression. And when you're being confident for the first time, that might feel like arrogance, but it's not. It's just that you have to go through the journey of putting yourself out there like that. So let's look at the chart. And this full moon's at 13 degrees and 18 minutes. 13 is a number of the goddess. Been talking a lot about how the universe is speaking so loudly to us about soul, about the feminine, and the retrieval of the feminine within our culture for everyone. But as a woman, I look at it really differently, and look at how I grew up and how I was conditioned and socialized, and just the internalizations of this culture. And this Uranus moving into Taurus in 2018 was this big awakening of the feminine within all of humanity. And you can see how women have been waking up all around the world, stepping into their confidence, stepping into their entrepreneurship, stepping into their own life they choose to live, and their businesses, and making and creating in the world. And now we're just leveling up and leveling up. And this full moon, Sagittarius, about wisdom, like I said, like going on the adventure. And Sagittarius is, it's very much, it's expansive, and it wants to expand, it wants to grow. It doesn't want to be stuck in the status quo anymore. And it wants to move beyond the limitations and beyond like the belief systems that it's held, to tap into natural truth. Sagittarius is very much related to intuition, because that's how we connect to natural truth, natural law, not man-made law. I was talking about how Sag can be very dogmatic and rigid and self-righteous, thinking that it has that it has it when it comes to, it's cornered the market on truth, that it has the truth and it is the only one and it is the top and the king of the mountain, right? And it's this energy, because it's very religious, religious dogma. All of this is coming up, and we want to realize that it's very much, Jupiter is very much about our belief systems. And we don't need a belief system to tell us what's right and wrong. We don't need a belief system to know that we feel like this is right or this is wrong. We don't need a belief system to tell us that what direction to go, to feel direction in life, to get up in the morning and to know our vision and what we're meant to do. We don't need beliefs to tell us that, but we have all of these beliefs in our subconscious that are creating our reality every day. And what beliefs you have by looking out into your reality. And so it's a matter of reprogramming those beliefs, which we do in Light Goddess. And like, do you know what actual techniques to do that, right? Because that's what's going to create the life that you're living. And so if you have beliefs that you suck, that you are not good enough, that you're unworthy, that you'll never create this thing, or whatever weird random beliefs that you took on from the culture, this is what we want to start finding, the things that we are believing, that we've internalized, and start shedding those layers. And this moon is illuminating that. Wherever you feel pressure and tension and difficulty, realize that this is being illuminated for you to shed those layers. This full moon is conjunct the great attractor at 14 degrees and 21 minutes. The great attractor is a point in space that is this cosmic point that understands the greater gestalt of everything, and it understands how to look at the whole picture. Instead of taking everything into the individual pieces, it looks at the whole picture of it all, and it understands the integration of everything together. And again, we find our own truth. And this full moon is semi-square Pluto. So there's some tension in this moon. There's tension, and there is this energy of like these pockets within ourselves of where we need to grow. And it's going to illuminate and show us. So wherever you're feeling that tension, like you're seeing what wants to be shifted within you. And if you are so attached to it, or if you are unable to feel to feel inferior, and to look into where you feel inferior, and to go in and handle that and deal with it, then that's going to be where there's all kinds of tension and struggle. But if you can look and say, I feel inferior in this area of my life, and like I'm ready to grow, I'm ready to change this, it shows you right where to do the work at. And it's always this. We have this grand cross in the chart, and Venus, and we just came off a grand cross with Mars in it, but now this grand cross has Venus at 28 degrees of Cancer, to Jupiter in the North Node and the South Node and Pluto. And with the nodes, the South Node is our past, what has been hidden from us, psychological, emotional betrayal, psychological problems, undercurrents and issues. That's all Scorpio stuff, all of the undercurrents that you know and you feel, you know, it's showing and revealing itself to us. It's been coming up in the collective. We're having the opportunity to see it all. It's revealing the secrets. It's revealing the issues in politics, in every area, in science and technology, with this Pluto and Aquarius, and the collective, in our relationships. We're seeing it all. Wherever there is psychological dynamics that are unhealthy, that are not serving you, that are not allowing you to evolve and grow, that are keeping you stuck, that have emotional betrayal or black magic and abuse and spiritual and psychic abuse, or have sexual abuse and just all of these types of Scorpio themes, you can see it. It is out in the open. It is visible, and it's conjunct the shapely attractor, the South Node is, and this is revealing all the secrets over the next 2 months, revealing all the secrets with the underworld affairs, which, whether that's in your own relationships with other people and narcissism and abuse and emotional manipulation and, you know, all of these types of psychodynamics that are unhealthy and dysfunctional or keeping you down or just outright abusive or traumatic. It's all coming up to the surface so you can finally get out of those relationships, heal these old wounds. And my guides really want to say very clearly, like, this is being shown to you so you can get out of these relationships, get out of them. A lot of people balk about when I talk about this online. A lot of people have something to say and come back and like say like, well, you can't just like get rid of everybody in the world and all this stuff. And it's like, and it's like, it's not my job. It, you know, I give that up to all that is, to the universal heart, to deal with the narcissists and the sociopaths and psychopaths. They don't get to be in my life. You know, I understand that there's darkness in this world. There's darkness in this world. And that's what I talk about, is how there's not a spiritual war. There's just darkness and there's light. There's benevolence and malevolence. And there's a percentage of the population who has every vested interest in manipulating other people and controlling and dominating other people and controlling and dominating humanity at higher levels. And, you know, sometimes it's just individuals who just want to abuse and hurt other people. Sometimes it's damaged egos. Like, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have damaged egos that are not really going to go in and do the inner work. They have a greater possibility of healing than anyone else, but they often won't. They often just keep doing that emotional manipulation to get what they want and need, instead of actually going in and doing the inner work. And you just get these people out of your life. Why are you allowing these people to have access to you? Welcome amazing, functional, emotionally healthy, psychologically healthy people into your life that love you and adore you and want for your success. If you have people in your life that are like, they're not horrible people, but they just don't want for your success, and they're kind of like jealous of you in the background, and they kind of do these like little manipulative things, why do they have access to you? Why do you have them there? I'm telling you, man, it is so liberating. Just get all these fucks out of your life and just have people in your life that want for your success, that uplift you, encourage, that you guys are on the same level of rising together and encouraging each other and growing and doing the inner work and being emotionally and psychologically healthy and functional. It is incredibly powerful to have an amazing life full of people who want to be emotionally functional, who want to be psychologically and mentally and emotionally healthy, and who do the inner work and look at their own stuff. Like, it is amazing to have people like that in your life, to have amazing positive relationships where you grow in the relationship. No one's trying to hold you down and trying to pull you back down into all of the sewage, and that Scorpio is the sewage. And so with the square, we have tensions, we have decisions. We like, a square is something that is not squared. Like when we say like everything's good, we're like, it's square, it's all good. You know, I squared that up. So when we have a square, it's something that is not square. There's tension, there's action to be taken, there's a decision to be made. Like, we don't necessarily, we feel the angst of something needing to shift, or something just not not feeling, not flowing, and something that we need to do. We need to take action. And with this Jupiter, it's like learning, growing, expanding in Taurus about our intuition, the divine feminine, emotions, tactile, like simplicity, Taurus, and abundance mentality, self-worth. Taurus is all about self-reliance and survival. So what is your definition of self-reliance and survival? And then with this Venus here, in Cancer, conjunct Black Moon Lilith, and conjunct the North Node of Pluto in Cancer, it's just speaking so loudly, this opposition, Pluto's in the sign of the collective, with this opposition to this feminine energy, the Great Mother, and to Lilith, this opposition where it makes us struggle through something that we end up growing through, that's for our greater evolution, that's for the best, that we look back and are really happy about, but there's a struggle through it. And it's with all of this Venus in Cancer and Black Moon Lilith in Cancer, it's reclaiming more and more of our feminine genius, reclaiming more and more of our feminine lifestyle, what we want, how we want to live. Stop deferring to men, stop deferring to some expert outside of yourself. Where is your genius? Where's your heart compass within you that is creating your beautiful life, that knows exactly what you want in life, and also knows that you're an amazing genius? Here's the thing though, so many of you haven't even made contact to your genius. Like, you don't even know that you have genius within you. And so stepping out on that creative journey, a lot of times it looks like replicating and duplicating other people's stuff. A lot of times it looks like, doing something that's trite, that's already been out there, because we have to grease the wheels, and we have to get the creativity flowing and going, and we have to just do the thing. And to make the masterpiece, we have to make many, many, many pieces, and realize that your whole life is a masterpiece. You are the masterpiece, that you make many, many masterpieces. So just realize that that's what, you're feeling the tensions of the square, of where we want to expand our feminine genius into the world and make big projects, grow our business. Maybe you're working on some big project that's like a year-long journey, and there's just all of this stuff coming up about it that's just like, and that's what we have to deal with for sure. This Gemini sun is conjunct Juno, and it's opposite this full moon. And so this is so much about all of this coming up in our relationships, and where, like, even though it's difficult to go through these things in relationships, it helps us to grow and expand and evolve and to learn. And relationships are just a medium in which we do it. If we can have more of a Neptunian overview, it really helps to sometimes deal with the hurt. But when we're dealing with relationships, we just need to release the hurt in the moment, or the loss in the moment. This moon does have these sesquisquares to Lilith and Venus, and there's something to be integrated here that is not the easiest thing. And it may take sacred rage practice. Wherever we have Lilith, there may be rage and outrage and anger coming up. And I teach sacred rage practice in Light Goddess because we need a way to express and get anger out of our bodies. And we need to not keep suppressing it, because it will turn inward and turn into depression. So if you are already depressed, maybe look at where you're actually angry and see if you can get the anger out. And it's where you've been suppressing your power and your genius and yourself as a woman. Like, look where you've been shrinking, look where you've been hiding, look where you've been afraid to step out onto the stage. This full moon is so powerful, Sagittarius full moon. And it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter just went into Taurus, and Taurus is abundance, it's money, and Jupiter is beneficial. It is luck, and it is opportunity. But the thing about opportunity is we must do something with opportunity. The opportunity comes, and then we have to take an action with it. And, Jupiter in Taurus is expanding and going on the journey, Jupiter, of gaining the wisdom of the divine feminine, of like self-sufficiency, Taurus, of self-love, deeper, deeper, deeper expansion of self-love and self-acceptance and valuing ourselves at greater heights and levels, which means for this year until May of 2024, with Jupiter and Taurus, we're on this journey of expanding and growing in our wisdom of self-love, which the thing about self-love is it never ends. You're always deepening it. Think about your relationships with people you just adore, or your animals, or someone you love, and how think about when you first were with them, and then a year later, and then now, it's like the love just deepens over time. It just grows. And if it's not, what's up there? And like, maybe look at the Scorpio stuff here. Or this, semi-square to Pluto here. Aquarius is where we're cold, where we're cut off, where we're too objective, and we're not having a subjective, like personal relationship. It's too impersonal and cut off and observing, like the scientists. And so it's like, are you cold and distant in your relationships because there's something underneath there that needs to be healed, some old hurt or past life trauma? And so this Jupiter and Taurus can be great abundance, but just this expansion of our idea of survival and self-sufficiency, that it's got to evolve from the old patriarchal dominator culture ways that we looked at survival and self-sufficiency. And it's got to include feeding your soul, feeding your light, feeding your love and your joy. Like, do you trust joy? Do you trust your joy to lead you to the right places? How can you be completely on fire as a woman if you are not fully resourced and have not had joy and stimulation and connection and pleasure? Do you trust joy? Do you risk joy? Do you risk the good? And these are actually really big, deep questions I really encourage you to look deeply into, because these are big questions that can really expand you right now. We have this amazing thing happening, that we have a co-presence with Jupiter and Uranus. That Jupiter and Uranus are in the same sign. And Jupiter being the ruler of this full moon, this is really, really important. It just came off that conjunction to the North Node and got a lot of information there about what we've been doing for the last 18 months since January 29th of 2022. That North Node's been in Taurus. It's going to move out of it in July 18th. And we've gotten so much information about this archetype of Taurus: survival, self-sufficiency. What do we think about that? Self-love, how we value ourselves, what our values are based upon our beliefs. Because, beware of the first great solution, right? Like if you value chocolate so highly because when you're depressed, chocolate makes you feel better, and that was the first thing you ever tried and it worked, and you're like, great. But if you always use that every time you don't feel good, obviously it's not really sustainable. It's not going to be great for your body and all these different things, right? So it's like, if you believe that chocolate's the answer, so it's like Jupiter is really about our belief systems, and can we keep excavating and exhuming beliefs that don't serve us and that are based upon the world we grew up in, internalized messages from others and from this patriarchal culture? And can we return to earth wisdom and the natural earth religion of the higher natural truth and law and wisdom? Because that's what this Sagittarius full moon's about, and this Jupiter here in Taurus of feminine power returning to the earth, which is within all people, but the empathetic intelligence returning to the earth. And so from now until next April, this Jupiter is in this culmination phase, moving into this conjunction with Uranus. And this is a really, really big deal. It's a really positive thing. This is an amazing, positive, like beautiful, benefic transit that's happening. And the conjunction will take place next April, May of 2024. And until then, because Jupiter and Uranus are co-present in the same sign, we're in the energy of this beautiful opportunistic energy, this enthusiasm and experimentation, this awakenings and just this expansive awakenings. There's awakenings that space your face and make you lose your shit for 2 weeks, and then you finally integrate it and you're like finally put yourself back together and you move on. Like, if you're on the spiritual journey, you've had those, you get it. And then there are the awakenings that are this flash of amazing things that go down that just set you on fire, set you on your course, where things pop off, projects are happening, relationships are sparked, ideas are moving into fruition. And so we're in this culmination where Jupiter is finishing this old phase of the last conjunction to Uranus in 2010. And so whatever was going on then, we're completing that. And so think about where Jupiter and Uranus and Aries in 2010 would have fallen in your chart, the Aries area of your chart, the Aries house. And I don't remember the degrees off the top of my head, but think about that area of your life, because we're culminating something. We're completing, we're bringing this thing to a completion from now until next April. And this is amazing because you have, like, look at how you have up leveled. So in this Aries area of your life, you've up leveled. And then Jupiter just spent a year in Aries where we were learning about the autonomy of being a sovereign being, of being very firm and clear about who the I am is inside of you, where that doesn't waver no matter what other people do, other people think and say, no matter what happens in the world, that you have a very clear, defined you, and that it doesn't get shifted and keep shifting based upon other people and wavering. That's what that Aries archetype is a very clearly defined you, an autonomous human, a leader amongst leaders, that you're autonomous. You're not looking for external validation and direction, that you are self-directed from within your soul, from what's within your own soul and heart. And now this Jupiter and Taurus about the self-sufficiency and survival and self-worth and value. And if we understand what we have within ourselves to create amazing things in this world, to create value for other people, and all of the resourcefulness that is you. And so we're in this Jupiter Uranus energy until next April, until it starts to move into that more exact conjunction. And then we're going to have that conjunction, and that is like this new beginning, and some seed is planted there for wherever that's falling in your chart. There's new beginnings, new inceptions that are beginning, and that might be beginning of projects, businesses, relationships. And every time there's a conjunction, there's endings that need to move out. And so it can be breakthroughs with Uranus, but really positive, happy breakthroughs, which aren't, we might have to move through the challenge of it. There's always all sides, right? But ultimately it's this revelation of learning and growth and expansion, Jupiter, that happens. And so with this full moon, you're seeing previews of what this is about for you, this Jupiter Uranus energy. And we're in this energy for a year. We have a year with this benefic energy of opportunity and expansion and growth and learning, and this Uranus awakening and experimentation and innovation, but with more of that like happy, hopeful, like positive energy coming. And this more of this like optimistic, enthusiastic, like positive expansion and growth happening. And so this really, really, really powerful. So think about this in your life, and think about this area of your chart and where it's at for you, and really think about what's going to be growing and changing, because whatever house this is happening for you in, this is where you're going to have a massive shifts and everything I just spoke about, awakenings and new beginnings happening for this next year, really coming to that peak out in April and May of next year. we have to remember that Saturn being in Pisces with Neptune being at home, Neptune's really strong because Neptune's at home in Pisces and rules this Saturn right now. And Saturn and Pisces is about creating the creativity that we bring to the collective society, creativity, soul, divine love, divine expression. It's very malleable. It means that, you know, that society, Saturn, that the world, the tangible world, Saturn, karma, it's all very fluid. Pisces, it can just completely, you know, be diffuse into nothing, and it can come back together, and it's very malleable. So our world is very malleable right now, which is amazingly positive thing to really look at your Sagittarius beliefs and see if those beliefs are creating the reality that you want, or creating the reality that you need to change those beliefs because they're not creating the reality you want. And this trying to, from Saturn to the South Node, is really allowing us to have flow and ease with looking at the shit that needs healed, looking at the stuff that's arising within our psyche that we want to scrub away, that maybe has been what, you know, was creating our reality, that we're now changing, and that we're infusing with Pisces soul, that we use art to release it, we use creativity and painting and whatever you need to release all of that. And so this is really powerful. Mars has been in Leo, like I was talking about taking action on creative self-actualization, on your creativity, which means that you have to speak up and speak your voice and put yourself out there. And what is the pain point to doing that? And with Mercury and Taurus conjunct Uranus, there's just, you know, it's the lower mind and the higher mind coming together. It's the mind that's kind of dealing and transmitting data, giving the messages to us, but getting all of those Uranus downloads from past lives, from our future, from what we're meant to create. There's just downloads coming in from all over the universe. And with that conjunction to Mercury, there's just a lot of very, it's kind of like being hot wired, where you can have an excess of air energy that wants to flow through you, and see if you can actually create it into something tangible. Taurus, like create it into some tangible form, you know, create it into something. And but there's a lot of understandings, epiphanies, awakenings coming through, and the lower mind, the higher mind working together can really sift through and understand things with a clearer vision, and connecting to the higher, all that is the higher mind, the galactic energies of having a vision of, you know, how we're evolving in humanity, you know, how we are moving forward, how we are advancing. And you can see it everywhere. You can see the bloom of advancement everywhere. People are healing, people are talking about PTSD in different ways, people are uplifted, starting businesses, taking greater steps in their confidence. People are moving damaged people out of their lives and moving amazing people in, and really building the relationships that lift you up and inspire you, and that are positive and happy. And these are the amazing things that are going down right now. Really, really positive moon with some hard aspects. Also, the sun has a semi square to Venus, and you know, it's just this, it's just this energy of being able to change, of seeing things that we want to change, but we have to, we're you know, it pushes our buttons, it may trigger us, but that's the energy of being able to see it so we can actually take action on it. So it's really powerful. This is really magnanimous. Opportunity, you know, amazing things coming in, just, and Mercury is going to be speeding up, Uranus is speeding up. We are going to have some like buzzy energy kind of coming in to June, and the energies have really shifted now in late May. I mean, we've really come off of everything from the beginning of the year where it felt like we were just trying to move into these energies. Like now we've landed and we're in these newer energies. We're in these energies of having done so much deep, dark work. We are in this energy of like seeing behind the closed door, of seeing what's underneath the carpet, seeing what's in the hell realm, seeing, you know, what's beneath all of the dark hidden secrets. We've been seeing it, and it's like, okay, we've matured to a level where we can handle it now, and we can not, you know, be, you know, not have your face like you can handle all of these secrets having come up, having all of these understandings, epiphanies, and awakenings, and now you can really look to move into the life that you want to move into. I'm going to do the sun sign horoscopes for all 12 signs. If you like this video, if you got one little thing out of it, please like the video. And if you share it with a friend, if there's something that they would find really helpful or useful, just like go ahead and text it to a friend now. I really appreciate you all being here so much. And the second part of this video is always the sun sign horoscopes with oracle card reading, and there will be chapters. And so know that if you have not looked at your personal astrology, or if you want to understand where your transits are at this moment, I do readings on you can book a reading with me on the goddessastrologer.com. But I have an amazing opportunity right now where you can actually book a pick your price reading. My readings are $297. I encourage you to really pay honestly what you feel you can pay, but as close to that as possible. I put the same amount of time, love, and energy into them. And I want everyone to be able, that's been wanting a reading with me, to be able to go ahead and book. So take this opportunity while it's here. It's not going to be here forever. So take this opportunity and book a reading today. And you can do that at thegoddessastrologer.com. And we'll pull up all of your sun signs and do oracle card readings, and this is going to be amazing. I'm going to talk about your Jupiter and what house your Jupiter Uranus conjunction is going to be in. Remember, your rising sign is your natal birth chart and your sun sign is your solar chart, and they both give you a really amazing idea of what's happening for you. So okay, y'all, let's look at another thing in this full moon too, because these energies have been going on for a while too. Realize that this Jupiter here in Taurus at 4 degrees, it's opposite the south node, and there is this T-square that's been going on, you know, to Venus. We had a T-square before to Mars, and so it's like Venus is on the heels of it, and it's always to understand, you know, if you ever feeling like lost, if you ever feeling like that you can't take the opportunity, the reason is the old wounds and issues, and most likely they're around money or something that is like money, you know, survival, self-sufficiency, you know, issues, things. You can have $1 million and feel like you don't have any money. A lot of people do, and so it's all about the beliefs, the stories that you're telling you about, the thoughts that you're indulging in. And so really be aware of where you feel stuck and understand what this energy is that Pluto is revealing things around around innovating, around experimentation, around being individuated. You know, Aquarius is a sign of individuation, and so it's, you know, what is in us that wants us to feel emotionally safe. Venus and Cancer, that's unwilling to individuate, unwilling to deprogram all those programs, to let go of the way we think we thought it was, you know, the way we think it has to be, this rigid Sagittarius energy, and to allow our consciousness to expand and grow, which is the high consciousness Sag. And it's around the wounds. It's the Scorpio wounds. They're deep, you know, emotional betrayal, emotional abandonment. This could be from past lives. This could be from this life, childhood, recently. And you know what's going on in your psyche, but put that shit down on paper so you can really get a handle of what's going on for you. All right, y'all. This is really amazing energy, and we're going to get into the sun signs now. Let's do this. All right, good. And I'm going to pull cards for everyone. All right, let's do it. Aries, this full moon is happening in your 9th house of Sag. Sun in your 3rd. This Gemini energy in your 3rd conjunct Juno. It's, you know, the relationships around communication and relationships around your own ideas, your own creativity and magic. This is definitely around how you experience and understand your environment and what's happening for you. And the Sag full moon is illuminating your expertise and how it's asking it's time to integrate the things that you know and bring them into a cohesion, bring them into some sort of coherence, and stand in your power as an expert in your field. So Aries, like, you know, as a woman in business, as a woman creative, you have expertise, you have knowledge and skill set that no one else has. And are you standing as a leader within that expertise? Are you bringing that forward? I am going to grab the Aries. This for you is very spiritual, and it's asking you to step into this greater metaphysical, higher spiritual understanding, to really shed the beliefs that are holding you back. And it's putting everything into more of a cohesion because it's conjunct the great attractor. This Venus here is in your 4th, and so there can be a lot of emotional security issues up for you related into stepping into the next, you know, identity of yourself, the next version of yourself. This Pluto is in your 11th, and this is highlighting like groups, organizations, relationships, friendships, where, you know, things, it's showing you a lot of underworld things in this area of your life. This Jupiter Uranus conjunction for you is happening in your 2nd house because you're Aries, so it's that pure blood of that Taurus 2nd house. So it's very much, you know, the 2nd house is about self-sufficiency. Yes, you can say it's about money and self-love and about your self-value, about the resources you have within you, you know, so very, very lucky, very, very positive. And also, though, must take action on things. If you see money in the street and you get the intuitive download that it's for this thing, but you go and do this other thing over here, you can just feel like you just didn't even get lucky at all because you didn't spend it on what you got the download that it was for. Like you're going to go buy something for your house and you went and spent it on, you know, fast food instead. And it's like, no, this great gift came of just finding money on the street for this thing that you'd wanted. So go spend it on that. So it's one of those things about being able to understand the gifts and the magic and the talents and the like what you bring. Do you know your gifts? Do you know your magic? Do you know your talents? And do you have more? Are you developing and cultivating them? Because it's also the skill set of continuing to develop to become the expert in this 9th house full moon. And so this is going to highlight where you are the expert. It's going to highlight where you feel deficient, where you don't feel like you are at the highest levels, and to take from that where it's just time to grow and evolve and to keep expanding and to keep basically your craft, whatever you do in the world, whether it's being a coach or a guide or a mentor, healer, or a creative, making things, you know, of taking your craft and leveling up to the next level and stepping into greater visibility. That 9th house is about visibility in the world. And it's also about your philosophical, metaphysical connection to life and how you understand life in those bigger themed ways. So this Jupiter and Uranus here is all 2nd house for you, Aries. So that exact conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus is going to happen next April, May of 2024. And we're in the energy of it now. And so soak in this energy, revel in this energy, let Jupiter take you on the journey of growing the deepest self-love you never thought possible, and let the awakenings and epiphanies come through, but capitalize on any opportunities you see. Like, try to be awake and eyes open to the opportunities that are coming in for you. Very powerful. With the South Node, it can be, you know, 8th house Scorpio stuff, really very much in the psychic, emotional, betrayal world, sexual, emotional, deep psychological places within your psyche soul. Also realize that this Jupiter Uranus conjunction is very much, it can be psychological and very much inside. It's not necessarily like car is going to show up. It's like very much the changes and epiphanies within ourselves that grow and expand us. So I hope that feels understandable. All right, Aries, let's pull you some cards. This card, Rise, is in upright position. Yay. And it's asking you to rise. So there is this up leveling that's happening right now, this stepping into greater visibility, stepping into the world in a larger way, and stepping on stage. External validation. Where are you not accepting compliments from others, or you're not accepting positive things about yourself? Or where are you needing that to be able to make a move? Don't need external validation. It's got to come from the inside. Got to come from the inside out. And remember, as an Aries sun, if you're an Aries sun, your life purpose is Aries. You're trying to be that Aries, and that archetype of Aries is the archetype that is part of your life purpose. So autonomy, sovereignty, a very clear I am, assertion, clearly owning your no and yes, and so on. And so we got this card, limitations inspire innovations. It's in a self-care message. And so really understanding the obstacles, loss, and block, like understanding them in the right way. How are you narrating them? And understand like the resourcefulness of Taurus, that Jupiter and Taurus, like where's your resourcefulness? Where's your MacGyver? Like how can you overcome this obstacle and block? Like what do you know and what resources you have that you are maybe overlooking? Really important, Aries. And if this is Aries rising for you, it's a little bit different than your sun. She who creates, Shiala. So you got that. It's like that second house. It's that creativity and all of that beautiful energy of spontaneity, originality, all of that coming forward. So your reading is like really clear about being the wild one, being the creative, being like it's a time to level up, Aries. And so I think the obstacle or block is thinking that limitations are holding you back, and it's how you narrate it. And it's understanding that it forces you to make different moves or find different routes to things. And that knowledge might come really in handy later too. So see how you're narrating. I pulled you another card, like She Who Waits, Manara, patience, waiting, determination. There's something in this card of like not waiting. You know, this is what downloaded with this card. It can go one of two ways, but for you, she's got that butterfly in her hand. She has the power in her hand right now. Like, don't wait. Like, take the creative actions. Remember, we make a masterpiece by making many, many, many pieces that often look like shit. To really step into your creativity, you have to just do things that maybe don't feel that great. And then you keep doing it, and you hone your own craft. All right, Aries, I hope that helps you to capitalize on this full moon and this amazing energy. All right, Taurus. Sagittarius full moon is happening in your 8th house, all about interpersonal relationships and the expansion of yourself, expanding beyond blocks and limitations and obstacles within yourself. And it's through relationships, through that merging energy. And so with the Sagittarius, it's looking at beliefs that are maybe getting in the way of having deeper relationships. It's a deepening, a natural deepening of your relationships. And what that can be is just realizing that you're less on guard, that you feel less unsafe in relationships, that you feel more trusting that they're going to be there for you, that you have solidity in your relationships, or that you are moving, you can trust that you're not perceived the wrong way, or that old, wounds, eighth house, aren't going to cause an issue in the relationship. This is really very much about your sacral chakra and creating and understanding to regenerate, and to be able to like have that death and rebirth process within yourself, within your projects, your work, your day-to-day life, of how you thought you were going along, and then you lose the plot because of how the energies are shifting and changing, and allowing that to be okay, and putting it into a much larger context, this great attractor conjunct this full moon, of that it's the regeneration cycle, and that everything has that cyclical renewal. And this sacral chakra, our sexual center, and this is sex, it's creativity, and it's the merging with another, but that could be with source, that could be with all that is, that could be with your own higher self and creative energies. Excuse me. So this moon is really illuminating the where you can expand sexually, but sex as a metaphor also for that creative regenerative force of constantly like regenerating what you have within you to create with, and the merging with another, whether it's other relationships, or whether it's with your relationship to your business, to your projects, to your own creativity, to the all that is, and the expansion and exploration of removing the limitations in that. This Venus in your third house, where there may be just a lot of mental chatter, where that's maybe where you're going to find the anger and the issues within, or have perhaps emotional insecurity around your thoughts, around how you think, around expressing yourself, communicating, and maybe even just in trusting, you're trusting your local area, like you're going to go somewhere and feeling like really secure. So if you have weird random feelings of not feeling super secure, or feeling a little scared from time to time, it's like it's just this energy that's there. But there also might need to be some deep healing of rage, anger, of feeling like things are unfair, that injustice. Remember that this is a concept I teach in Light Goddess. It's one of my concepts. And unfair, we were told in society like life's unfair, that it's that completely misses the whole point, that unfair is an emotion that we often feel. And if you just know it's an emotion, you could just release it. So simple. So, if you're feeling injustice and outrage, like this is unfair, whatever, like go into that and allow yourself to feel that emotion and to have those emotions, and for that to be okay, and get the messages from that information. That's information from your soul. It may be indicative of abuses, or where you're healing from past abuses. This Jupiter Uranus conjunction is in your first house. And if you're a Taurus rising, if you're a Taurus, sun, this is your solar chart, but it can really help you to understand if this is your your rising, your natal. And so this is your first house of how we first enter the world, and like taking on this ego personality structure and this ego body. And so there's just great fortune here of your identity, your I amness, that I am within you, that self within you, that the certitude and the certainty with your identity and who you feel yourself to be in this world. There's just this great opportunity here to really step into the world and to level up in this whole new expansion of confidence. There's a lot of awakenings around your own assertion, assertiveness, around your own confidence, around your own identity and who you feel yourself to be, how you're changing and growing, and really owning your space in this world, taking up space in this world, owning your space. And this is energetic too. You have to remember that, like, energetically we can get bullied by other people, and so take up space in the world energetically as well. And this is this year from now until next April and May, where we're in this energy of this opportunity and expansion and awakening. And it's all around the archetype of Taurus: self-love, self-value, money, abundance, creativity, creating things in the world. And for you, it's happening in this first house of this I am, and this certainty of self, this expansion of your identity and who you are in the world. This South Node is in your 7th house, so it might be a lot of wounds coming up around relationships. So if you have a lot of wounds or just shit poking up, really look at where it's coming up around relationships, because that's kind of the focused area for the South Node for you. And the semi-square to Pluto is in your, Pluto being in your 10th, so it might be revealing uneasiness around stepping into, higher levels of consciousness in your business and expanding into the world and taking up space and owning space in the world. You may be feeling this semi-square, just this tension of expanding and raising your consciousness and awakening to greater heights in your business, and yet you're meant to take up space and be the expert and to have that wisdom and growth and bring that to the world. So it's okay if you're feeling that tension. All right, Taurus, let's get some cards pulled for you. What wants to come up for Taurus? So raw intention, and this came up in a protection message, and it's just that getting to the essence of what you desire, of getting all of the lack of clarity out of the way, and what is the essence of what you intend to do. And so the how of it, getting all of that lack of clarity out of the way and just come back to the vision, because Sagittarius, this full moon, is also about vision. And so of getting down to the vision. What is the essence of it? What are you working to create and to build in this world? And another protection card in protection: ambush fear with ferocious dreams, with your ferocious dreams. So this card is really saying that there's fear coming up and you have to counter it in some way. And it's really, there's something that you're not taking care of within yourself that's allowing these fears to even like settle in and dig in. So you want to somehow address how that's even taking place. Let's see if we can pull a card to get to the root of this. And you are magic, but it's in a protection message. So it's just, you're on this journey right now to own your value at higher and higher levels, which means you have to do belief work and you have to do thought work, and it's like pen to paper work. We do all that in Light Goddess, but it's a journey, and it's doing it every single day, sinking into the emotion, sinking into the beliefs and the thoughts, and doing belief reprogramming work that is like very fast, 3 days to 2 weeks, and you can have a new belief like in your subconscious. Bam. So it's like, are you doing the things? Because it's really just indicative of, there's a journey of you're magical, you're amazing, and you have these ferocious dreams, but there's something that you have to like overcome, the fear of stepping out. Like your dreams have to be bigger than the fear. Like what you want to create, your belief in yourself has to overcome the fear. And fear, there's 2 ways to deal with fear. You either unpack it or you do the thing immediately. Don't wait, like do the thing immediately. Like there's something that I didn't realize I was putting it off. And then I realized like just today, I was like, oh, okay, I'm putting this off for some reason, just some rando fear that's not like a real fear, but we have those. And I'm like, okay, I got to do this immediately. And I take action on this immediately and do this thing, and instead of putting it off, which creates anxiety, which may be a very familiar feeling to you, that is you're familiarized with it, you're habituated to it. So in a way, it's kind of comfortable. So you want to deal with the fears immediately, and you're going to have to almost retrain your system to be comfortable under new feelings, under new ways of being, new emotional states. Choose who you are becoming. So this is an interesting card because it's really implying that you have to make the decision to be and step in to the version of you that you want to be, the version of you that's out on the horizon that you envision. Step into her now, embody her now. And there's the choice, like the fork in the road, like who are you going to be? And it's like you're becoming this person, but you have to embody her now. Like, how can you step into the emotions she has? Like, who is this future self? Like, what does she think? What is she feeling? What is she doing in these types of situations that you have? How is it different than right now? Zenith, she who prepares, formulates, strategizes, devise. So you got this Zenith card, and it's kind of an interesting card. Let me just tap in here. She who prepares. So she's like very prepared for battle. It's like formulate, strategize, devise. So it's like allow yourself that piece of the journey. Allow that piece of the journey of the steps, the strategy, the pieces of it all to be fun, to be a positive part of it. What else wants to come through from this? You got that card, like choose who you are becoming, and then you got, she who prepares. Like prepare for who you're becoming now. I think that's actually a really important message, is like preparing to step into this role. And it means that you have to deal with the fears now and understand like you are magical, meaning that you have to create the brain that believes in yourself, unwavering belief in yourself, like right now, and step into that and prepare to be that person that you're becoming. Like choose who you're becoming and then prepare to become her by doing the belief work and the thought work every single day of this is who I am. This is what's amazing about me. This I love this about me. I love me, and changing those beliefs that are holding you back. And the other card you got is she who nurtures, empathy, gentleness, insight, and just realizing the beauty within you that you have, that you bring that amazing feminine, empathetic intelligence to the fore, that you're nurturing the collective with your work, that you tap into that nurturing space within you. And even when you have the fear, when you are working with your own parts of your own psyche, like tap into that nurturing space, be fiercely protective and nurturing of you and all the parts of you, all the ages of you within yourself. All right, Taurus. Gemini, this full moon is happening for you in your 7th house. Sun is in your 1st. This is your birthday time. Remember with birthdays that there's a balsamic period leading up to your birthday, and balsamic periods are like a trip to the underworld. It's where we're breaking down to regenerate. It's the caterpillar time. It can be painful. It can be hard. It's the time where the most suicides happen. It can be a time where you feel like you've completely lost the plot and don't know what the hell's going on anymore. So let that all be okay, because it all resolves as your solar return comes. And this is all happening for you in your house of relationships and relating. So how you relate to your business, how you relate to life, how you relate to bigger concepts of soul and so on. But it's relationships and also like injustices. Like, how are you relating to injustices? So it's like clearing out your belief systems about relationships and injustice and that just don't serve you anymore. And it's going on the adventure, expanding in wisdom, expanding in opportunity and enthusiasm and wisdom and relationships. Like, can you expect the best and clear out the worst? Like, don't allow the worst to be there. Expect the best and move through it. Like, who wants to evolve and grow with you, and can you let yourself evolve and grow and have any sort of relationship difficulties be that you are gaining more understanding, that you're gaining more wisdom. There is some sort of synthesis that's wanting to happen here in relationships. Like, maybe your overall view or understanding of them is evolving, and you are expanding your idea of relationships to a higher level and expanding like what you think about them. This Jupiter Uranus conjunction and them being co-present in the same sign is happening in your 12th house. So you could have some completions and endings over this next year, very 12th house stuff. But it's for your expansion and your ultimate growth, that you're going to look back on it and be happy about it and understand the blessing that it is. So it's for the ultimate growth. This is also a chance to just complete old energies that are going to lead to benefic things and lead to great opportunities and positive, happy experiences or beginnings in your life next April and May. So this is like understanding what needs to come to a close and letting that happen. Like, don't hold on, move through it, move through the challenge, deal with emotions, and really listen to your divine feminine energy and what wants to be birthed here. This semi-square to Pluto in your 9th is talking about your expertise that's been on the table for you for a long time. And so your beliefs may be impeding that, or they may be allowing you to expand there. And a lot is coming through about, your willingness to expand into higher states of consciousness. And there is, this need to lose the dogmatic, like rigid self-righteousness or superiority issues in your relationships. Really look at anywhere you're feeling that superiority, that's where you're feeling inferiority, and be willing to look at it and grow and expand there, because you can only grow, you can only evolve into greater heights of your own wisdom, which you then bring to the world. Let something beautiful, let some sort of unique truth birth from something higher and expand in your relationships. And pull you some cards, Gemini. Fill your cup up with sacred giggles. There's like some too seriousness going on here. And what is that all about? Get back to the elementals. So there's too much in your head, maybe too much distraction energy all over the place, running here and there. What are the basics? Just the simplicity. Taurus North Node. I eat when I'm hungry, I'm tired. I sleep when I'm tired, and just getting back to the grounding, getting back to meditation, to the salt bath, to the things that ground you and get you back to your, your elemental self, your natural self, feeling natural, feeling less harried, less disconnected from your body. So there's this call to get back into your body and out of the buzzy mind energy and have that heart and head connectedness, and to be laughing, to allow yourself to expand into the positive places. Like, when's the last time you laughed, and what makes you laugh, and how can you get more of that? We can overlook it. Like, if you and just going about your life, and there's not necessarily a lot of natural moments that cause you to laugh, like we can overlook at how amazing and important that is to laugh and to like find a movie, find a friend that is funny and bring it in somehow. Fierce serenity. This is about this anchored place within you that is always, you can always return to this place of peace and this place of a grounded connection to yourself and all that is, and to your vision and what you're doing, and never letting that being pulled off. And there's just this like, there's this the fierce aspect of this card is saying that it's that important to you. And there's a lot in your reading about getting back to, you know, valuing and understanding just how important it is to be fully resourced as a woman, to have humor in your life and pleasure and all of these pieces. Bliss is worth creating from. So you have a very clear message here that there's been too much seriousness. You have to protect your inner peace and have an anchor to it that you always return to, and that there's a need to return back into your body and to create from that space, create from the happiness and the joy and the bliss. And you got Zenith as well, like the strategy. But so this card, you know, she's so fierce, she's so it's like gray and dark and cloudy, and you know, it's like, but preparation of bliss, of laughter, of being grounded in your body, of being like in this pillar of peace within you that you always have that anchor to pull back from, then you're ready for anything that happens in your life, any storms that come up. She who whispers, Concia, I don't know what the fuck her name is, secrets, confessions, confidant. And there's something about you know, whispers, gossip, things that are, you know, below the subtext, the things like you kind of know and sense in relationships, but they're not really in the most functional realm. And there's some things that are coming to light for you. There's some things that you know and may be wanting to get out of these psychodramas and get back to the elemental, because it's saying that you're in that. I just want to pull one more card and see if She Who Flies, Valeris. So it's like ground, get back to being a fully resourced woman, get out of all of the underhanded, you know, psychodramas, or if things have been revealed to you, go in to see how is the best way to handle them and deal with them within yourself first, and then take that action and then create from there. Dream, dare, do, fly, reach, you know, dare to create your dreams in the world. And you have that Pluto in the ninth, so it is very much some wounds around that, some challenge around that. All right, Gemini. I don't think there's any way to do this with. All right, Cancer. And I try to move my thing and it moves sometimes and then it doesn't others. I don't know how you make it move. So let's try it, and it probably won't. Anyways, so sorry, Cancer, that I don't think you get to see your wheel. They're too small to see anyways. But the point is, Cancer, is that you have this full moon happening in your 6th house. And the 6th house is very much about your lifestyle, your life force energy, your health, but it's also about feeling inadequate, and where you have, you know, it's like you've come through some mastery of self to this point of where now you're looking at all the ways in which you can grow and expand, which is all the areas you feel inadequate. And so And so this is kind of the area of life of dealing with inadequacies, dealing with inferiorities, dealing with where you don't feel good enough. Be willing to see it, look at it, be willing to grow and work with it. Because when you work through those things, you will have that much more confidence. You will have that much more empowerment. You will have that much more understanding of your own value and standing firmly rooted within it. It's so powerful to do it. And think about your lifestyle. This is the Sag, like, where can you expand into a different lifestyle? Where do you have set fixed beliefs about lifestyle or about health? Like, a lot of people still believe that genes create, because your mama had this, now you have the possibility of having this disease. That shit ain't true. Bruce Lipton fucking disproved that a long time ago. Like, do you still have that shit where you're like believing these old things that have been disproven by science decades ago? No, like, stress and our beliefs are what cause disease. We all have all of the diseases floating around in our body. Like, you could get anything. And so it's really like, what is the lifestyle that you want to live? It's such a powerful question to really start asking yourself the lifestyle that you want to live. Like, is it adventurous like you want? Is it audacious and wild enough? Are you, doing day to day, sixth house, what you want to do? Or are you doing belief Sagittarius shadow of what like you're supposed to supposedly do? Who says you're supposed to supposedly do that, Cancer? And Cancer, with depending on your other placements, it can be where there's just so like over caution. It can be like wanting to be too safe where you don't expand and grow. So you want to step outside of your comfort zones, because everything you desire is on the other side of that. To create any dreams in life, you basically have to say, let me get a cup of discomfort, let me get a cup of insecurity, let me get a cup of self-doubt, let me get a cup of looking at all my shit all the time. That's what it means to go after your dreams. And this 11th house, Jupiter, Uranus, like co-presence that's happening, and this Taurus energy in your 11th house is all about being in the world, the sacred activist. It's your audience. The 6th house is also your audience too. So it's like looking at your social media and your business, growing, expanding, personal connections, networking, friendships. So there's an expansion, awakenings, epiphanies, shifts, changes, and this is a culmination phase of Jupiter leading up into that conjunction with Uranus. So you're culminating something old from like 2010. That's old, that you're completing. You're no longer, you're done with that. So there's a completion happening, which is really mega. It's quite amazing in this area of your life. It's actually where Aries is at in your chart. So for the solar or rising, it would be 9th house. So 9th house issues, there's like completion happening here. And there's completion happening in Taurus types things, self-sufficiency, survival issues. So maybe you're finally growing out of this overcautious survival fear and realizing that it's not about anything to do with survival, that you'll always survive and breathe and be alive. But like, are you living the life of your dreams, of your wild dreams? Are you pushing the edge of your greatness? There's semi-square to Pluto in your 8th, so be aware of things related to regeneration, the death and rebirth process, that you may be resisting moving through that process to greater and greater expansion of awakening and innovating and stepping into higher up levels of yourself. So there's just maybe some tension there of expansion and growing. And pull you some cards. All right, Cancer, let's pull you some cards. So you got change maker, make waves, but it's in a protection message. There's a fear coming up about being a change maker in this world, being a leader, being an expert, speaking your voice, putting your own intellectual property into the world, understanding what it is to sell your services, your products. And so it's like, step outside of your comfort zones, be courageous, because it pays off and you learn so much. And if you just let that fear hold you back, you'll be in the same place a year from now or 10 years from now. And you don't want that feeling of like, fuck, I didn't go do this. I know this woman who went into this certification to be this thing, and then she started her business, and then she just went into a job, and she just did a job, and she hid out, and she never did the business. And she could have built it on the side, she could have done a lot of things, but she wouldn't go do the inner work. She wouldn't face things. I don't, it's hard for me to understand people like that, because I'm not like that. I go seek the answer. But I feel sad for her, because I see her feminine genius. Like, I see her genius. And so I didn't talk to her like between the years where she was like trying to branch back out into it again. And it was like 8 years later or something. Like, I didn't see her for a chunk of years. And I was like, wow, like I thought she went out on the journey of entrepreneurship, and she didn't. And I was just dumbfounded, because inside me, I'm thinking like, she's amazing. And I just like saw her brilliance and her beauty. And one of the things is like, are you around people that think that and lift you up? I mean, my whole life, I've always been like lifting others up and supporting them and encouraging them. And it's just how I roll. And so I've had to get everyone out of my life that didn't do that for me, because it's like, I can't have someone in my life that's not doing that for me when I'm doing that. That's just my natural how I roll. Get back to the elemental, Cancer. It's getting back grounded, get in your body, do the things that make you feel nurtured, that make you feel loved. Like, are you self-nurturing? Because it's a whole skill set, because we weren't orientated in this world to self-nurture. We were orientated to strong arm ourselves into something. Like, you got to do it. You got to take massive action. You just got to get this done. Be determined, be disciplined, be focused. I'm not saying those things don't have their right place, but in a feminine body and in a feminine life and in a woman, how are you nurturing yourself? And can you reorientate yourself within yourself to nurture you? Like, where's the magic? Where is the things that uplift and delight you and spark your passion and your fun and your joy to really get back to the things that you love? And just get enough sleep. The get back to the elemental card is like self-abuse, negative self-talk, not taking care of yourself, putting others first. Those things, you can be habituated to those types of behaviors. You can think that that's how you get your self-worth, by taking care of others. So to really kind of unpack those things, nourish the sacred feminine. And it's in a protection message. So it's like, you're not nourishing the sacred feminine. You're not fiercely protective of her and what she needs. Does she need a salt bath? Does she need extra sleep tonight? Like, I'll tell you, I was feeling extra tired, and I had a lot on my agenda to accomplish, and I had these things scattered out in my schedule in a specific way to get them accomplished. And I was just so tired. I'm like, why am I so tired? And I knew kind of where I was at with exercise and different pieces of my puzzle. And I was like, what is this? Is this? And finally, I just listened. And I fucking went and got extra sleep, and I slept the whole weekend basically and got extra sleep, and come to find out, like, I got a cold. And so I was tired because my body was trying to get rid of this cold. And I think that, I staved it off from like being a bigger, thing, but I listened and I got sleep when I needed it. And there was a reason for it. And so sometimes we have to really be connected to that reason of our soul, that there's, deeper things. Get back to the elemental is like listening to your intuition as a woman. Inflow with money. So there's some fear around money. There's some abundance issues. There's some worry about it. Worry doesn't create money. Just specific actions create money, and clearing out. You might have to clear out some energetic pieces. You might need to clear out the mental, emotional pieces. Magic happens when you most expect it. Again, in a protection message. So Cancer, there's a lot of protection messages here about taking care of self. Magic happens when you most expect it, meaning that you're dwelling on the negative, like expecting the negative to happen, kind of bracing for the bad. And there may be real reasons about that trauma. And so there might be some real healing that is needing. And that's what I'm hearing, is that kind of healing that expecting the other shoe to drop, healing that. And a lot of energetic work can be really powerful. So she who guides Maptua, new path guide renewal. So there's like a renewal that's wanted here. The bird's got that yellow on it. It's the color of air, and there's a real renewal and a wanting to move into spring, and that's all spring, and it's yellow. It's hard to see, I know, but it's like wanting to come out of the dark, all of the white and the yellow on her, and there's a renewal happening. And it's like she's so fierce. She's so fierce, and she's in such a stance of like knowing. She's in such a stance of her power. She who guides, of like, I guide, I'm the expert. And this is a Sag moon. It is where you have wisdom, and where you have expertise. Not rigid expertise, but expertise that comes from the natural order. And I'll pull you another card. She who grants wishes. And so there's this magic, like I mentioned magic. There's this like wanting to nurture that playful magic within you, that the thing that's enchanting to you and delightful and sparks your connection to magic, and to hope and wishes and desires and passion. And then there's this card that wanted to come out of blue of like this sadness, that sadness must be released. So do you have real techniques that work to release sadness? Do you know how to do that? We do that in Light Goddess. It's open on June 1st. You can click the link below to come check it out, join us. There's hassle-free cancellation. But there's magic wanting for you to connect to, and any sadness that needs to be released. You don't have to carry sadness around with you. And so if you're in a grief cycle, I understand grief has its own journey through us, and it takes the time that it takes, and we can't speed it up, and we can't wish it away. It just, I have grief coming up from random things where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of dealing with it. But also I'm so willing to deal with it. I'm so willing. I'm like, whatever it takes, I will do that. And I will take care of myself. So it's coming up. Okay. It's coming up to be released. So just know that whatever is arising to be cleaned and cleansed and cleared out. All right, Cancer, I hope that helps you. Big messages for you. All right, Leo, this full moon for you is in this 5th house, this house of Leo, and this house of self-mastery, of composure, of kind of this finalized state where we're taking our gifts out into the world, and we are in more of a state of self-mastery and confidence. And it's the house of like really understanding that you matter, and understanding and realizing that there's like a healthy pride versus the unhealthy pride of only being like so focused on self and thinking that you're the only one that matters, when it's like understanding, I see this with people sometimes where there's this overcompensation within of that deep insecurity or inferiority. And so there's this overcompensation of thinking like they're the only one that matters, and there's this kind of like self-focused, self-centeredness in this way. And this house is not about this. This house is about creativity and fecundity, about creation and birthing. That's why it's a house about children and romance, because it's like the romance with all of life, the romance with your creative birthing of creative self-actualization, creating a book, a podcast, a video journal, creating a magazine, a great work of art in the like more traditional sense of like, maybe you paint, maybe you draw, maybe you're a graphic artist or graphic designer, or your work on movies, or I can't even think of other things right now. I guess it's just not my milieu, but like all of the possibilities, there's endless possibilities of what we can create in this life, a classic car. And so it's just like, rebuilding a motorcycle or something like that. It's like, it's like there's just all this creative energy and understanding that you matter, clearing out the beliefs that are standing in the way of that, like standing in your expertise, like bringing that fire energy and bringing that like happiness and enthusiasm, that expansion, like being willing to grow and learn instead of having set rigid beliefs. And this Jupiter Uranus is in your 10th house, Leo. And so there's just this this energy of completion in the 10th house, of anything related to your business, of taking up space in this world, of how you've grown up into this point. There's a culmination coming next April and May, where there's a completion coming in this area of your life and a new beginning happening. And it's so very much about this energy of Taurus, of self-sufficiency, of your value, of your self-love, of knowing the resources that you have within you that you can use to create things in this world and in this life. It's very much this positive, benefic energy to really bask in for this next year, of like, let the opportunities come in your career house and your sacred calling house, this house of taking up space in the world and doing this big project in this house of self-mastery. Like, let the opportunities come in to showcase your self-mastery and to believe in that. And the semi-square to Pluto and your 7th, that there can be real tensions in relationships. It's things that tend to just pop up suddenly and be very obvious. And these tensions and relationships are here to be healed and to be dealt with. The South Node is really acting in your 4th house of your self-identity and how you see yourself. And so understanding the wounds around that, that's where the wounds are coming in. That's where there's healing that will relieve the other pressure points in the chart right now for you. Let's pull you some cards. This card really wanted to come out for you, Leo. Success and transformation, and a protection message where it's just really, really wanting to understand that if you go through the journey of transformation, you will have success with it, but this card being in reverse means that you are in a massive resistance to the transformation, because the transformation doesn't feel good. It's a breaking down of everything you knew. It's a breaking down of what may feel solid, may feel like balance, may feel like known territory. A lot of times we'll stay in the hell that we know because it's familiar and it feels safe, but you have to go through the discomfort. You have to expand and let everything be messy and choppy and clunky and not feel like it's working well, to allow for the transformation to actually culminate and take place, and to get to that fruition of the new metamorphosis. Magic happens when you most expect it. So there's some negative thinking going on. It's in a self-care message where there's some negative self-talk, negative thinking about all the disasters, how everything won't be good, putting everything down. And it's really where you have to kind of believe in the best, expect the best, create the image in your mind of what you want and what you desire, and see if you can put it into perspective and then create that into being. And so there's this real message of being able to believe and see the amazing thing that you want. You are the muse. And so it's saying, like, remember that the creation comes from inside of you. It channels through you, it bubbles up. Connect with your feminine genius, connect with and commune with the genius that is you, and that beautiful woman that has so much within her of amazing talent, amazing sparks of passion, enthusiasm, unique takes on things that the world needs to hear. Like, you're your own best inspiration, and you get that by maybe roller skating or swimming with sharks or jumping out of planes or having amazing conversations or watching a funny movie, but looking out into the world, but realizing it's your inspiration within you, and you have to go create that and find that. And getting a lot of cards in self-care. So the overall message is like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you a fully resourced woman? Integrate your knowing with the fox energy, the feminine energy. And so it's really stop compartmentalizing everything into pieces and bring all of the pieces together. And that full moon is conjunct the great attractor, which is about synthesis and integration of the whole, the Pisces gestalt. And it's in the 5th house of understanding that you matter, being able to stand on stage, of birthing, the creative self-actualization. And so it is being able to take all the parts and put them together into a cohesive element. This card wants to come up for you. She who guides, fierce. She's just fierce. She's just completely, she just knows, like, she's a leader. She leads the way, and she guides. She has the answer, and the answer is always being in the inquiry. The answer is always back into the compass of your own soul and heart. And so allowing yourself to be that guide and realize that you have to take care of yourself to guide others. You have to be fully resourced within yourself for the channel to come through you, for the inspiration to come through. She who yearns, longing, pine for. This card, yearning and longing, something, being wistful for something, nostalgic for something, wanting something from the past. Longing is an emotion that you can release. So it's just an emotion. And I teach that in Light Goddess. And come into Light Goddess, you can learn how to release emotions, how to work with how to build emotional alchemy and build that skill set and that toolbox. And it's so powerful to release emotions like this, where you feel that. You feel like you're just longing and wanting and wistful. That's a shitty experience to be in, just constantly in that vibe. And so realize that you can release this energy. And if you're longing and yearning, then you're not creating. You're not doing, you're not making, you're not sending it out into the world. And so, if you're wanting for something in the past, then you're not creating the future. And all right, Leo, so I hope that helps. Virgo. So Virgo, this full moon for you is in the 4th house. And this is about your self-identity, your self-image, who you are in the world, this foundation of self. And so it can also be a house of like emotional security and roots, and feeling like you're rooted and grounded. And there's this tension of the semi-square to Pluto in the 6th house of lifestyle. So feeling like you're grounded, and then the lifestyle you dream of and desire and really want. Pluto bringing up like all the secrets, like maybe you're understanding the life you really desire, like you're awakening to the health that you desire, the lifestyle you desire. And there's this tension between feeling emotionally secure and rooted and grounded. And this full moon is illuminating all these areas where maybe you have beliefs of how things have to be, of where you feel inferior in your self-image of who you are. Look at that inferiority and go in and be willing to address it, because that's what will expand you and grow you into infinite like expertise and evolution, and the learned person, the person that truly is the expert. This Jupiter in your 9th house is speaking to this full moon about your expertise, about the one that's standing in the platform, speaking to others, being the leader out there, being the guide and the mentor. And so very much about that. And then this conjunction is happening. It's happening in your 9th house. So this conjunction of Jupiter and Uranus is going to happen next April and May 2024. And they're in a co-presence right now in your 9th house. So there's this energy of 9th house is expansion, where you're the expert, where you're being adventurous and leading. It's wanting to expand your philosophical and metaphysical ideas about life, about self. about everything. And so there's this real philosophical searching for deeper understandings and meaning to life. And so there's a great opportunity for massive evolution, expansion, and awakening here. Take the opportunity as they come, like read it for what it is. Read it for what it is. This will be really profound and powerful. All right, Virgo, let's pull you some cards. Bravely market your magic. Get your name out there, get your voice out there, speak, step into greater visibility, make the write the email, make the phone call, take the next step in your visibility and expanding, telling people who you are, like work on your copy, work on how you say things. These are all skills in business. And it's asking you to be brave, but it's in a self-care message. So it's saying that this is the thing you're not doing. And why. And if you don't, you can't grow a business, and you'll never scale a business. Like you have to do this piece. Your past supports your future. So realize that the past isn't horrible. Like, how are you narrating the past? And so there's a need to restory the past for your empowerment. And when you do that, you can understand the stair ladder of how you build the future of your dreams. I'm not somebody that's like, oh yeah, I'm so grateful this person, this abuser, this something that happened to me. I'm not like that. I'm like, this bullshit happened and I alchemize that shit into my empowerment, into great gifts, into great amazing things for myself. Horrible shit went down and I took that and used it to my benefit. I'm that type of person. A lot of people out there in the spiritual world are all like, I'm so la 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 happy, grateful this happened to me. I think when you heal, there's no charge anymore. There's no issue. Like, you just don't have an issue anymore. I don't believe in forgiveness. Forgiveness is moot if you just heal completely, because there's nothing to forgive, because you're just over it. It's just gone. So I'm the type of person where it's like, I'm not grateful this shit happened. This shit went down. I came in as a soul into this whole thing, and that's the experience, whether my soul programmed it in exactly or programmed in the possibilities of something like that. I went on the adventure, did the adventure, and I'm fucking using every last bit of it to my advantage, damn it. And I'm gonna make something out of lemons. I'm gonna make something out of a bunch of parts and scraps of whatever crap in a shit pile. Like, I'm fucking burn that shit pile for warmth or something, but I'm gonna do something with it. So this is what this card is really saying about the past. Is helpful to our future. Shift the new way to potential. So it's saying that that there is all of this potential inside of you. There is all of this light and all of this goodness, and you have to be willing to do this shift. There's a lot in your reading, the whole thing about being willing to take the steps to step into the greater visibility, the next level of your confidence. If you're having issues with that, then come into Light Goddess. The link is below. One more card for you, Virgo. What's wanting to come up? Remember, depending on if you're Virgo heavy in other places in your chart, Virgo can be like not understanding the Pisces gestalt. Like with Virgo, you got to really understand the opposite polarity of that Pisces gestalt and the whole picture, all of it together, the synthesis, the cohesion, rather than all of the complicated, complex little pieces. And that Virgo can get very, very much dealing with inadequacy issues, and it can like kind of separate everything and make it so chaotic, all the details. So there's the good, amazing stuff about it and the tough stuff. So fill your cup up with sacred giggles in a protection message. You're not laughing enough. You're not laughing enough. You're not watching funny movies. You're not going and doing fun things. You're not being fully resourced as a woman. So you need to find the things that create joy and get busy doing that, Virgo. Nemesis, she who avenges. So what is the deep down issues going on? There's a need to purge the sewage, heal the wounds. What is the stuff? Look at it, face it head on. That's the only, like, if you shove that shit underneath the rug, it's going to grow in gravity and intensity. not super fun. And you don't want to come back next life and do it. I'm telling you, don't rack this stuff up for lifetimes to come. Deal with it now, because you can actually have the gift and the benefit of that now. And you got she who hopes, this hoping place. It's around love and romance and relationships. So it sounds like there's just the old sewage of old relationships. And there's just this hoping, there's this frog underneath that she, like hoping she could kiss the frog. And it's like, no, just get rid of the frog, man. Give the frog some crickets. Like, he's cute, but it's a frog. It's not. They're like, stop with the hoping stuff. Release that wistful longing type of emotions and actually create what you desire, which means that you create the woman who's happy, having fun, living the life she wants. And then the partner comes, the man or woman, and the partner comes for you that you want in your life, because you're happy living your life and attracting that energy to you. And so it's like, get out of this wistful longing energy, because then that's the energy you're gonna attract from others, is wistful longing people. Do you want to be around creators, or do you want to be around people that are all like, oh, I wish this would happen, oh, I hope this is gonna be like this? That energy sucks. So get out of that. All right, Virgo. Whew. Libra. All right, Libra, in your third house, Sag moon in your third house, Sag, about looking at where you might have the superiority inferiority complex. It's where we can go in and heal. It's where we can expand into greater wisdom and heights. And this is in your house of the mental, of, of being ambulatory in your local area, overlooking your environment and what's in it and what's amazing about it. Thinking you know everything. Like, be more of the adventurer in your local area and expand and try out things and look for adventure like close to you. Maybe there's such amazing things that you don't even know about and haven't tried, haven't done, and be less rigid. Let in your mind, like, this is wanting you to expand and grow in the way that you think and communicate with others, and in your ability to process information, to synthesize information, to curate information. So be willing to be expansive, be on the adventure, like take in more ideas, and be willing to take in ideas and eliminate ideas, and just try on ideas, communicate with other people, like expand connection and communication and talking to others, and let yourself grow in this area. It's a big area of, like, also your mindset and the way you think, and letting that grow and expand and evolve, and letting that come online. This Jupiter is in your 8th, ruling this full moon. And so it's very much about your creativity and your fecundity. And so all of your mind related to your ability to create value in the world, create creative projects that you have or for your business. And are you allowing yourself to understand your skill set and the innate ability you have within you to create these projects and these goals and to bring them to fruition? Part of that is focusing, and the third house energy is not a super focused energy, and neither really is Sag. And so there's something here about needing to focus to fruition. And so it's like being like a lightning rod, like on the target. Like, what is the target, and how can I maybe bring some low risk things to fruition, like practice focusing all the way to completion and not focusing here, there, and everywhere, because that can be really enticing to focus. Oh, this next new thing is, oh, that's exciting, and this exciting thing. Instead, like, how can you actually keep the enthusiasm, Sag, and the excitement and the optimism all the way through the delivery process, the complete creation process of what you're making? And this energy here is in your 8th house, is like the sexual energy, the creation energy, the regeneration, the death and rebirth energy, of realizing that this like deep intimacy and partnerships here. So there's something that's going to be birthing and completing, something completing and something birthing next April and May. But you're in this energy where Jupiter is co-present with Uranus for a year. You have a year with this benefic, optimistic, awakening, expansive, amazing energy in your eighth house of like merging deep bonded relationships, of sexuality. So that could be the expansion of your feminine power, your sexual power. But like sexual doesn't just mean sex. It's like your sexual sensual power, your power within your ability to create, your ability to believe, to manifest, to make, you know, focus into fruition, to create things from the invisible into the invisible to the visible realms. And this is all about your psychic gifts and the metaphysical. So this is very much about your psychic gifts as well, and connection to spirit, connection to the invisible world and the energetic worlds, and like understanding Taurus themes, self-sufficiency, creativity, your self-value, your self-love, abundance, money. Like, can you create something from the invisible realms into being, like using your psychic gifts and your intuition and all of those abilities? This semi-square to Pluto in your fifth is definitely like where you stand on stage and in your life or in your business, and there's that tension there, there's that fear or that like fear, and then you don't do it. It's like you gotta believe in you and stand on the stage and go through the clunkiness, go through the discomfort, go through the crazy fear and your knees knocking. Do it. Go for you. Do not be 90, 100, or 80 on your fucking deathbed being like, fuck, I wish I did all that. I'll tell you, I read this book by this woman who did hospice work, and she said every single person on their deathbed, like almost 99% of people were like, I wish I would have just done this. I wish I would have just done this. I wish I would have just done this. They could see it so clearly of how they held themselves back. So all right, Libra, I hope that helps you. Let's pull some cards for you. All right, unstick the stuck. And, you know, it's in a self-care message, meaning like be a fully resourced woman. Make sure you're taking care of yourself first, and make sure you're taking care of yourself in deep, nourishing, loving self kinds of ways. Remember that we're oriented in this society to like strong arm ourselves or muscle through things or push. Like, can you reorientate to nourishing yourself, loving yourself and nourishing yourself? And that will unstick the stuck. Like, how do you get through it? It's fears, what's coming up. Get back to the elemental is in the protection message. So enough sleep, nourishing, amazing foods. Like if you haven't made root vegetables in a while, or if you haven't made a soup, or make a cold soup, like I can't think of it, gazpacho. That's not the right word, but it's like gazpacho. Okay. Okay, so make some gazpacho. Make some sherbet. You know, it's getting to be summer here. It's hot as fuck here. So you know, food, nourishment, nature, salt baths, the things that lift you up, you know, take care of your beauty. You know, like I had the shitty fucking haircut. I gotta go get a real fucking haircut. And like, I don't know if they're gonna have to take more length off. I didn't really want to. So, you know, like shit like this. It's like, man, I can't live with this haircut. I'm gonna have to fucking go get a second haircut because this is jank. It's not what I asked for. And I don't like it. I don't feel like me. And that's this, get back to the elemental. It's like the basic shit that makes you feel good. You got to do that for yourself. Change maker, make waves. Like make the waves. Remember, assertiveness feels like aggression when you haven't done it before, when you're not practiced in doing it. Confidence feels like arrogance when you're not practiced at doing it. So just remember that. So you got to go on the journey of doing it until it finally feels amazing. Is that 4 cards? No, one more card, Libra. one step ahead is all you need. So get out of that Libra spinning mind, and this full moon is in your house of the mind. And so don't let your mind spin, really one step at a time. That's all you need, is just the next step, and then do that. And then you'll know what the next step is. You don't have to sit there and think about them all. You're like, I got this video done. Okay, what's my next step? Well, I have to go put chapters in, and then what's the next step after that? I know the steps. And if I've never done a project before, I figure it out as I go. And here's the trick. Here's the secret in business. Let it be fucking fun, because if each little piece isn't really fun and you're like, I have to do this, I want to do this, it's like, what's the point of all of this, man? Let's just not be alive then, because it's like, it needs to be fun. Enjoy your life. This is your life. All of this is your life. I'm really working on that piece myself of making every little part fun, and getting out of the have to and hurry and all of that crap. You got she who yearns. So there's a need to release longing, wistfulness. Can you identify what that's from? And maybe it needs to be unpacked. If you're going to grief right now, just let yourself grieve, release the emotions. We do all that in White Goddess. What else wants to come up for Libra? She who begins. So primavera, launch, actualize, potential, all this spring energy. So your reading was so clear. Just begin, just do it, take the action. And then, that you got that card, just one step is all you need at a time. Don't future crazy fear it out on yourself. Just in this moment to moment, anicca, moment to moment. So you got that card loud and clear, primavera. Launch, girl. Take that step. Put yourself out there. You got this. You got this. I need some more ginger ale. My throat doesn't feel good. All right, Scorpio. This full moon is in the second house. This is expansion. This is wisdom. This is the healing of inferiority complex. This is the adventure and your own expertise in the second house of growth, expansion, self-love, of understanding your own resourcefulness inside of you. In other words, whatever situation you get into in life, do you have the resourcefulness within you to handle it, to do it, to know what to do? Or are you always looking for help? Or, and people are a resource to us. So this is being able to understand all the talents that you have within you, and all of the abilities and skills and gifts that you bring in this world. And so this is an expansion. This is illuminating and highlighting all these areas within yourself where maybe you're feeling insecure. Maybe you're feeling that inferiority issue. This is bringing a cohesive whole to money and self-love and self-value and understanding the value that you are. Do you value yourself at the highest levels? Do you orientate yourself in the world as I'm valuable, period? No, I'm valuable. How are you orientated within yourself? Because if you're always looking for that external validation to tell you that you're valuable, then you're just chasing something constantly. And this semi-square to Pluto in the fourth of this emotional security, your self-image, just Jupiter ruling this in the seventh around relationships. So it's this expansion of relationships. It's this opportunities and this journey of learning around relationships is what is going to allow you to reclaim your value within. It's related to relationships, claiming and being orientated to your own value within all of your relationships and within all situations around fairness and justice. This Jupiter-Uranus conjunction for the next year, going to April, May of next year, is so powerful. It's benefic, it's positive, it's opportunity, it's awakening and experimentation and happiness and enthusiasm and belief in what you can create. And it's this area of relationships for you. So the soulmate relationships, amazing friendships, your relationship to your business, it's relating. It's the house of relating. It's also a house of culmination. It's a house of completions and celebration of completing something. So this house is this house of finalizing and that fruition phase. So maybe there's this big fruition and thing, this project coming to that point for you. And this is just a lot of magic here. And you got to take the opportunities here. So when they present, when someone, asks you to meet, when someone wants to connect, when someone comes in, obviously like use your intuition, your discernment, but you have to take the opportunity here, Scorpio. All right, pull you some cards, Scorpio. You are the light. So be the light, Scorpio, and remember that it emanates through you. And so trying to get it from the outside, remember that you are the light, and maybe your light hides until you speak. Maybe your light just shines and emanates from you. I know for me, like I can't turn it off. People fucking just flock to me. Weirdest shit happens to me. And it's a part of I had to learn how to handle that and how to deal with that. And so remember that the light is not like some esoteric thing out there, that you are the bringer of it. It's within you, emanating out, and you bring it through your transmission, through your heart, through your compassion, and through the amazing information that you bring forward. And you got the now in a self-care message. So understanding, getting out of the past and the future. There might things that are coming up from the past, then we need the techniques to actually look at them and heal them and deal with them in the moment, because just to like be sitting with them or ruminating, none of that is going to help you. So do you have real techniques that work? We do that in Light Goddess. You can sign up at the link below, or inquire about one-to-one coaching. But like, if you don't work with me, develop techniques. You need techniques to handle the difficulties and the issues of the past. You can't just sweep them underneath the rug. It's not going to work. They will grow in gravity and intensity, and you'll be back here next life dealing with that same shit. I'm telling you, you don't want that. The future fear, having a vision and all of that's great, but it's a target. Put the target down and then start shooting your arrows. And you have to fuck up, and you have to just do the creative process, and it has to be clunky, and you have to not get it right. I don't get all the marketing copy just like spot on. I have to do it and do it and do it. And like sometimes a million times. And, it's just to be in the process, be in the now moment, get out of your head spinning, get into your body, and really sink into the embodiment as a woman. So that now card is wanting you to understand there's changes afoot, and changes mean that it can feel scary, it can feel messy, it can feel like everything's falling apart when something's changing, when actually, or you can actually have a subconscious belief that change is bad, or change is scary, or change means other shoes dropping or something bad is happening. I personally had to, and many of my clients have to, change those subconscious programs of thinking that change is bad, and realize that change is amazing, and start narrating it and believing and thinking of change in that way. Like, because the only thing that is absolute is change. So it is not helpful to be resistant to it, because, there's things that I've loved, and I've got in the habit, like I've had so many things break and be destroyed, or it was just their time. Like they just wore this shirt so many times, it's barely a shirt anymore. And it's just like strings hung together. And it's like, I know a couple of my shirts that are my old dead shirts are going to be leaving soon. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, take a picture. So I have the picture of it. And it's just like, just really trying to love it and spend out. There's this idea of spend out, like use the thing up. Don't save grandma's perfume till 10 years later, thinking that like you'll have the smell, and then the smell evaporates and you don't actually you never used it. Like use the thing in the time that you have it, love it while you have it, and use it while you have it, and know that there's a next best thing and a next best thing. Like really see if you can be in that kind of narration in your head. Celebrate your wins. It's in a protection message. So you're not, and I'll tell you, like, this is something I've got to get better at myself. It's something I teach. it's not, we're not really taught this, and we're taught that you're a narcissist or you're an egocentric person or you're self-centered if you celebrate your wins. And that's the like funny thing is like we can actually learn something from a narcissist of like celebrate your wins, celebrate yourself, honor yourself, love yourself, and let go of any of that fucked up messaging in the culture that you're not supposed to, which probably came from a narcissist that wanted to keep you down actually. What it's so crazy that the people that actually send a lot of these abusive messages are the abusers. So you want to celebrate every little win you get. And for me, like there's something that just felt a lack of genuineness. That was part of my process where it just didn't feel, I felt hokey. I felt like I was making it up. I didn't feel genuine. Like, yay, I did this little thing. Yay, it's so amazing. And my head's like, I got this big vision. Like, okay, just put the peas in the pot or something. It's like, so, but I've, it's taken doing a lot of work in a lot of areas where this got better for me. And now it's like, look what I did. I did this amazing thing. Like, yes, like just so excited, and it's genuine. And I think just fake it till you make it, go through that lack of genuine excitement for a little while on the journey to get in the habit of it. It's kind of like doing that laugh therapy where you make yourself laugh, and then eventually you finally start laughing at yourself for being so silly, and it's that sort of concept. So you gotta acknowledge what you're doing great, and you gotta acknowledge how you're taking actions and moving forward and what you're accomplishing and the inner work you're doing, the inner psychological changes and epiphanies and awakening. You have to acknowledge it. Otherwise, you're really dishonoring yourself. If you can look at it that way of like, gosh, I'm not even honoring myself. But of course, I would want somebody else. I wouldn't let somebody else dishonor me. Or maybe you would, which is, a product of abuse. You got Hannah, she who listens. And, this is interesting that this comes up, on the tail of this card with this whole reading. There's this fear, being in the future, being in the past, needing to heal, like remembering, like you are light, remembering that there's something good here. And can you understand, witness, and have compassion for yourself? So important to witness your emotions, witness what's arising for you. And can you have compassion for you? And you got she who avenges. So there's some sort of hurt here. There's some sort of old wounds, old feelings, and it's okay. It's a natural feeling to want to seek revenge. And it's talking about outcomes and justice too. And so if you're having that because of a wound, just realize it's part of the healing journey. It's natural, it's normal. But definitely there's the need to be doing the inner work with that. If this is about income, outcomes, and like justice, and there is like you alchemizing these negative situations to your benefit, like you making the most of them for your benefit. And it's about listening, acknowledging the good in you, seeing the amazingness in you. So there's definitely a massive like healing situation happening here, and it's not an easy one. I definitely encourage getting coached on the journey. All right, Scorpio. Sagittarius. So this full moon is in your first house of I am. So this is illuminating everything within you about where you're swaying within your own self, within your own belief in yourself, within your own self-concept. And, Sag, this is this energy about expansion, enthusiasm, learning, growth, and also superiority and inferiority. Like, where do you feel stuck and rigid and dogmatic and self-righteous? And where can you heal any of those inferiority issues to expand into that highest expression of love and the highest expression of your own wisdom, your innate feminine genius, the magic that's within you, and realize that this Jupiter ruling this full moon is in your 6th, around where you're feeling inadequate and where you're feeling that inferiority. And it takes to have this I am that's built on something of a solid foundation. It takes going in and eliminating where you feel inferior and insecure. And there's methods and techniques to that. I do those methods and techniques in Light Goddess, also in one-to-one coaching. If you don't work with me, find a way to do that for yourself, because it is so important to not let yourself sit in that stuff, because our emotions drive behavior. Our subconscious beliefs create our reality and show up in our reality. So if what's in your subconscious beliefs, and if your emotions are all that kind of inferiority stuff, then you're creating that in the world, and you're creating that in your experience, and it's driving behavior that's not of your fucking highest octave, Sag, and it's not of your highest expression of what you can create in the world, and the amazing genius, the amazing powerful light that you're here to bring. And we'll get more in your card reading deeper about this. This semi-square to Pluto here is this tension around like the way you're thinking and narrating things. Also like this tension in communicating and not being understood right, because of the like underlining issues of feeling inadequate, feeling like nobody sees your genius. Like you have to see your genius first, and you have to believe in yourself first. You got change maker, make waves, and doing it a little early. Because it's like believing in yourself. Like the Sag energy is magnanimous, like enthusiastic, gregarious, can talk to anybody, and is like the grand metaphysical philosophical concepts and ideas about life, and this expertise and this like synthesizing, conjunct that great attractor, like synthesizing the big ideas of life, the big metaphysical philosophies, and just being firm in this I am of self, that you have the self concept that how do you deal with threat? How do you like get mopey? Do you run and hide? Like how are you handling standing in this powerful sense of self, being assertive rather than being aggro and aggressive? Are you reluctant to step into the next level of your expertise, your visibility, your belief in yourself? Like it's time to make changes in the world, make your big impact in the world, make changes. And that's all about empowerment. And this Venus-Uranus conjunction that's going to be happening in April, May, but they're in a co-presence in Taurus, these two planets in the 6th house for you until next May. And there's this culmination happening. There's also this opportunity energy. There's this benefic energy of inspiration, awakening, experimentation, and powerful understandings and epiphanies and awakenings that help launch you and grow you. And there's just this positive expansion in the lifestyle that you want to lead, your health, your life force energy to create. But there's a lot about like a cleaning up, a coming to a culmination of inferiority issues, inadequacy issues, to have this massive like expansion of stepping into the lifestyle that you really want to live, and living it day to day, moment to moment. Change maker, make waves. This other card wants to come out for you, Sag. What does your soul say? So making sure that you're soul directed instead of some expert outside of you. Make sure that you are heart centered. Your compass is in you. Your guide, your higher self, it's within you. Like stop being in the mind about it. What does your soul say? Where's your soul guiding you? Are you orientated within yourself as your soul, or your ego personality? Ego personality is only supposed to be the vehicle for the soul. The soul is meant to drive the bus. So are you letting the ego all like inferior and then getting superior, or letting all the wounds and the unhealthy pride or the damaged ego to run the show? Or are you letting soul? So there's this big message to return to soul. And we all have inferiority issues. We all have inadequacy issues. But it's just coming up really heavily in your reading. Befriend the word polarize. So not getting too black or white, like understand the synthesis, like that there's a duality. This is a dualistic universe. We live in a universe that's an oppositional universe. There's always a shadow and the light. There's always the malefic and the benefic. We're not in a spiritual war. There's just fucks out there. There's a pile of fucks out there. It's like, that's part of our universe, like that we have it. But humanity is moving into this duality through unity, and unity through diversity. We're moving into being this cohesive whole that is not infighting about shit that, like, most people, like, people that are seers and sages and psychics, and that, like, we've gotten it for a long time. Like, those that are awakened, us starseeds, us, divine feminine soulpreneurs, like, that we already get this shit. Like, we need to stop infighting about it. But humanity is growing up and maturing. Humanity is a really immature race. Sacred mirror. So do you have those people that are your believing eyes and your loving mirrors in your life? And it's in a protection message. So it seems like maybe you don't have that in your life at the moment. Maybe you're not being that to yourself. Get in the mirror and do some mirror work of your that you love yourself, of all your value, of all of the amazing things about you. Like, are you in the mirror, being able to look into your own eyes and tell yourself you love you, tell yourself how amazing you are, that you're magical, that you have this gift and this talent and this ability, and you do, like, something about me, for example, is I see beauty everywhere. I can see a bunch of concrete and shit, and I'll see the one tree that has the buds on it that are pink and blossoming and beautiful, and all around it will be fucking ugly and concrete and yucky. But I see beauty everywhere. That's one of my gifts. It's one of the talents that I bring. It's one of the things that is amazing for myself, so that I can see beauty when I'm in weird places. And also, it's something I can bring to delight others and to lift others up. And so, can you get in the mirror and do some mirror work? Because there is this thing of this self-abuse of not looking at yourself honestly, of all the magic and good, positive things about you. Blanche, you got see who brings light, serenity, beacon. So you got this goddess card, Blanche. It's like not the most just rolling beautiful card. I wonder if these are real peacock feathers or if they've been dyed, but they're like red and purple. There's this peacock place by me where you can go hike and whatever, get eaten up by mosquitoes, and you can hang out with peacocks. And they're blue. It's like this emerald blue. It's so gorgeous. It's just, and like so close up to your eyes. It's just like makes your eyes happy. It's like she who brings light. And then your first card, was it your first card? Oh, I already mixed in your cards, damn it. But I thought, no, that was Scorpio. Okay, so she who brings light, like, be the light bringer, be the star seed, be the one who is this beacon of light. There's this message is really big of reorientating back to soul, and Sag in its highest consciousness is about the natural truths, not man-made stuff, but natural law, natural truth that's coming from the soul. Like, in your soul, you don't need beliefs to tell you if it's right or wrong. If it's fucking right or wrong. How you're being. She who frees. So it's like, be the light that you are and free others from the programming and from the superiority inferiority complex, because you know all about it, from the inadequacies, from their fear of stepping into greater visibility. Like, she who frees. Liberation, unrestrained, freedom. Be the example of the one who's individuated and free and liberated. Be that example. All right, Sag. Capricorn. This full moon is happening in your 12th house. It's about culminations and endings. Something is ending. Something is ending, so something new can be birthed. This could be painful. This could be challenging. This could be hard. This could be a welcome ending, and you know about it and you're ready to cut something off, but it's time to leave the job, the relationship, do the thing, cut the thing off. Or maybe you're going through grief and a loss, and it's time to allow yourself to be in the grief process and to feel grief when it comes up. It often comes up in waves, and you can release it in the moment and it'll come back, and it might come back 20 minutes later or 2 hours later. there is a wanting to connect with past lives for healing, for completion. There's a wanting to connect with the other dimensions and the energetic realms, to do that deep energetic work so that you can step into your greater expertise, so you can believe in yourself at the highest levels, to clear out the old limiting beliefs, and do the energetic work, whether it's Reiki or access consciousness, or it's other energetic healing in the invisible realms. But there's this deep need for invisible realms and energetic healing and deep work. If you want to reach out to me on socials, I can get you in touch with an amazing human that is a wizard at this stuff. So if you are needing that, Pluto in your second house, the semi-square to Pluto is saying, hey, like, there is a lot of illumination around your self-love and your self-confidence, and feeling like you have talents and abilities that create you money in the world, create you abundance in the world, of believing in your abundance, of understanding that you are the one that creates money, and being in the creator place, being in a self-sufficiency place, like self-sufficient, that like not like getting rid of these old ideas that are outdated about creating money. As Jupiter that rules this is in your fifth house, about standing in your I matter, standing in your place within yourself, of confidence, self-possession, of this fierce creative focus and creativity and fecundity, and just this very self-possessed knowing of that you matter, and bringing those gifts into the world, like understanding that what you bring to the world matters. And this Jupiter is ruling here, so this is what this is related to, this past life issues, or wanting to do this energetic clearing work here. But also this Jupiter and Uranus are going to be coming into this conjunction in April, May of 2024, and are in this co-presence in Taurus in your fifth house, all about this abundance, self-love, all about this understanding the value that you bring into the world, that you can create money with, that you can create, and all of your needs being met with, whether it's like needing good connection or a great meal, etc. And it's this opportunity energy, it's this experimentation, awakening, luck, fortune, and innovation, and a positive awakenings that really help you to expand in this area of standing on stage. The fifth house is about where we stand on stage in our lives. It's about the creativity, the generative, the procreative energy, whether it's children or a project. It's that creation energy, and bringing, creating that gift into the world. So there's a lot of benefic energy in your fifth house. This is really fun for you, Capricorn. I mean, this is really cool. This is massive positive things. Like, I would take the speaking events, I would go get speaking events, I would like get on to guesting spots, I'd go put your book out, I would go put the art piece out, put your storefront up, start the business, write the poem, call the person, do the things. Like, this is for this next year. You have this year of this energy in your fifth house. Like, so amazing, Capricorn. Let's pull you some cards. Feed your artists in a protection message. So it's saying you haven't been doing it, and that you're devaluing this. You have to realize that just like you feed yourself, you bathe yourself, just like you take care of the oil change in your car, you must feed your light as a requirement to life. You must feed your joy, feed your passion, feed your enthusiasm. This is a requirement to be a fully resourced woman that's making big things happen in the world, making big impact in the world, that's making your dreams come true that you have. Like, you must feed your light. You must feed your your love and your enthusiasm and passion and joy. And you got creator fire, this fifth house energy. It's like fifth house, creation, and fun, and, you know, knowing your value, standing in that, believing in that. And that Jupiter will help you to, you know, go on the journey to really learning and gaining the wisdom of understanding your value too in that fifth house. And so this creator fire is like creation energy, and it's focused to fruition. It's bringing something to life. It's that ethereal light, making it into something that inspires and uplifts and encourages somebody else. And gratitude again. So often when we can't feel gratitude, this is, you know, upright, so it's good. But when we can't feel gratitude, it's often because we have resentments. And realize that you can have resentments for people, but you can have resentments to spirit, to your guides, to the universe, to your life. You can just resent your car or your tires or your wall. I mean, you can have the weirdest resentments. So you want to find them, because that can be what's keeping you from gratitude, and that's okay. And realize that that just get back into that habit. I like appreciation a little bit better than gratitude, because gratitude sometimes can be connected to lack. Like I have to be grateful, otherwise like it'll disappear. You know, I like appreciation, because what you appreciate appreciates, and what you don't appreciate depreciates. So, you know, can you go around on a rampage of appreciation, on a rampage of love? I love my wall. I love my clothes. I love this thing that happened to me. I love, you know, the way I'm looking these days. I love this piece of work I created in my business. I love this email I wrote. I love this experience I had with this person. I love this conversation. I love the clouds today. Just go on a rampage of love and get into that energy, like embody it, infuse it within yourself, like suffuse it within yourself. Because it'll raise your vibration, it'll create big things. There's a reason for it. Prosperity sisters are happiness and joy. So it's in a protection message, Capricorn. So you got big messages of getting out of that surly, grumpy Capricornness. I don't know the rest of your chart, but with Capricorn, there can be that surly grumpiness and whatever. But I'm going to tell you something about that. The thing about it is that Saturn, being the ruling planet of Capricorn, is about depression, because that's when we start to take stock and realize something must change. My structures, Saturn, must change in order for me to be happy again. And the depression like alerts us to something being off, and it helps us to start to be like, I got to change this, otherwise I'm going to be sitting here in it. So the curmudgeonliness, the like too rigid and too like set, fixed, it's not supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be the wizened tree. Capricorn is about earth wisdom and the wizened tree and the learned one. And it's this beautiful energy of being that wizened person that has went through all these experiences. It's about self-mastery. And so there's this real need for happiness and joy, instead of thinking that self-mastery or expertise is like everything's tight, and you know, it's a tight ship and no one smiles and we're all buttoned up. No, that's not, I mean, do you really want to live that life? Is that really fun? Are you really, you know, it's saying that there's a need for joy and happiness here, Capricorn. You have Manara, she who waits, and it's that butterfly of light, and it's saying not to wait, that there's something about waiting and patience, that you can have endless patience with this Capricorn energy. But waiting means that you almost lose the opportunity when it's ripe. Like there's times where I had the idea and it was just so much overjoy and so much ecstatic bliss that I couldn't contain it and make the thing. But later it was like all that kind of diffused, and there just wasn't that big brilliant energy behind it anymore. And so I got into the habit of really creating at the time where there's all that energy, even if it's so unwieldy and I can't like hardly get it into the shape, you know, as metaphorically, you know, it's like, for example, I calm myself down enough to channel it into the project and start writing and put it into the thing. Like I have, you know, that sometimes. But I've gotten to the habit of doing that, where I'm making it into the thing at the time that it's such excited energy. That way it can have all that excitement energy contained within it, instead of being like instead of being void of that later. So it's not saying to wait, it's saying stop waiting. It's saying this this determination, it's almost like making you wait. And there's Taurus, which is Polish, and it's she who is present. And this Taurus is this Polish word meaning like the now moment, and she who's present. And it's now, it's awareness, it's acceptance. So acceptance of maybe where you're putting yourself down. There's something that happened that you're mad at yourself about, or you wish didn't go like that. And it's being able to do the healing to the point where you can have acceptance with it, and stop waiting and be in the now moment and create joy and create that enthusiasm so that you can have that enthusiastic momentum on your projects. All right, Capricorn, sending you lots of love. Aquarius. Happening for you in your 11th house of people, opportunities, bringing your gifts into the world, sacred activism of humanity, friendships, connections, groups, people, your audience building. It could be where you're building a community of some sort, or bringing a business into fruition. And the Sag energy about looking at where we feel inferiority, to heal that and deal with that. It's this opportunity energy. It's this illuminating this area of your chart, of your life, where there's something going down. Either there's inferiority issues that are making you not do things, or making you behave in ways that you really aren't creating the things you want to create in life, or this is illuminating where you can begin and burst forth or level up and have confidence in this area of your life. And the semi-square to Pluto in your first, all about like really being firm in your I am, but that may be where you feel unstable, wobbly, like not quite certain of yourself. And just know that there is some normal and natural insecurity that's just a part of leveling up, and it's a part of this growth, and it's okay. And also you can release insecurity as an emotion, and you can get that skill in Light Goddess. That is an invaluable skill. And so realize that there might be that you're working with right now, like this uncertainty within yourself that you're building or growing or leveling up with, and how it's being illuminated in the world of what you can do, begin, create, or where you can bring your expertise to the people. This is Sag, bringing your expertise out into the world to the people, excuse me. And this Jupiter in the 4th of your self-concept. So this Jupiter that rules this Sag full moon is in the 4th house of self-concept, of this foundation, your roots, feeling solid, feeling emotionally secure. And do you have a self-concept that allows you the fluidity of being amongst crowds and people and flowing and talking and being your authentic, amazing self? Or is there insecurity and doubt and fear that's really preventing you from acting in the world? And this, Jupiter's in Taurus, so there's great abundance for you to develop here in this area of your life. This Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that's happening next April, May, you're culminating something over this next year, but you have a year with this benefic energy in your 4th house, this opportunity energy, this energy of great expansion, experimentation, innovation, awakenings, downloads coming through that help you to bloom in your self-concept, help you to bloom in your sense of security and safety within yourself, within the world. Take every opportunity, take every insight and epiphany, like jump on this learning and growth phase of this amazing place, because this will just absolutely launch you forward, particularly next April and May, when this conjunction happens here for you in this area. All right, Aquarius, I'm pulling you some cards. These cards leaped out, manifesting and doing. So remember that there's a part to manifesting of needing to take the inspired action, and there's a part to doing of co-creating and having the intention and seeing the vision and manifesting, like creating it, like knowing it into being, basically. Like, I know I'm doing this into being. And there's a lot of that internal insecurity, doubt, fear, all that we have to overcome to create a creation into a tangible thing. And I get it. Like, you are epic, but it's in a protection message. So you're not seeing how amazing you are. Again, it's going to that like inferiority, the insecurity issues coming up. And so it's asking you to address it. And do you have the skills and the ability to do so? You got prosperity, sisters, or happiness and joy in a protection message, saying that it's an alignment message, saying that like, bring in the joy and the fun, Aquarius. What are you doing? Like, what do you love to do? Roller skate, ecstatic dance, like get out in the world and make sure that you're having fun. Go horseback riding, like go swim in the ocean. You know, how, like, no matter what your situation is, how can you go have fun? Because it will uplift your spirit, which will help you to face anything you need to face and make amazing things in life. What does your soul say? Get out of your head and out of that cerebral ding dong ding dong, like thinking, and get into your body and ask your soul, what does your soul say? And keep connecting soul and heart, soul and heart, soul and heart, head and heart, head and heart, head and heart, head and soul, head and soul. Like, keep connecting the cerebral into your compass, which is your soul and your heart, that always knows the next best step, even when sometimes that is being in the not knowing. And just, you know, eating a good meal and going to get a good night's sleep that night. And then you maybe have the dream that gives you the epiphany. So go back into soul, return to soul. And you got Desiree, she who yearns. This card's come up a lot for everyone on the call. There's a lot of yearning, maybe nostalgia, maybe wanting something from the past, or maybe longing for something that didn't happen or that you want to happen. That longing is, realize that it's the experience of life that you're having right now when you're in this wistfulness. It's not enjoyable. And it's just spinning out in something that's never going to create anything for you. So longing is an emotion that we can release. And it's so empowering when you learn how to release that emotion. We do that in Light Goddess, or get with somebody that, I mean, that's my own method that I teach, but learn how to release your emotions. She who regrets, eclat. So like I was saying, there's some sort of nostalgia or something from the past. How can you unpack it? Like, how, what is it going to be that allows you to let it go, to integrate it, to be okay with it? What is it that you regret? Like, can you release the emotion of regret? Can you understand the whole situation? Again, if you want to do that deep work, I do one-on-one coaching. And also you can get coached by me in Light Goddess. So you can come into Light Goddess and also learn there. I'm going to pull you one more card, Aquarius. What else can we say here? So there's definitely some inner work here. You got Savage, she who is wild. So there's something about letting your wild woman, your untamed, wild, mysterious self unleash, like to unleash her. Like, why are you holding her in? Why are you chaining her up? Why are you coloring in between lines? Why are you trying to be appropriate or pious? Like, stop that shit. That's fucking matrix bullshit. That is programming from the patriarchal culture. That is male keep a woman down programming. That is, you know, dominator culture programming. That is the industrial fascist programming. Like, here's the lines, you got to color in between. Let this wild woman out. And then this card jumped out too, Elixir, she who forgives. And I was going to say forgive earlier, but you know, it seems like there's this need to forgive yourself. Guilt, remorse, like there's this need to forgive yourself. And I've done that on some deep things where I had to forgive myself for something. And if you know me, you know that I don't believe in forgiveness. What I believe in is healing to the point where forgiveness is moot and it's not even a question anymore. And so you really have to understand that you know, forgiving ourselves though, like I will talk about how like I had to do a lot of work to forgive myself, but I didn't sit there and do forgiveness work. Does that make sense? You know, I did the healing work that was needed. So there's something going down for you. And there's, you know, the only way through is in and down and then through. And so I hope that you can really self-nurture through whatever this is, Aquarius. Sending you lots of love. All right, Pisces. All right, Pisces, this full moon for you is in this 10th house of business, sacred calling, taking up space in the world, legacy, being a big voice in the world, like doing something that matters, being seen by others, how others see you. And so it's just this Sag, like standing in your expertise, standing in your confidence, your self-belief, and weeding out all of the inferiority complexes, all of the false beliefs in your psyche that are limiting from you from stepping in to the leader and the expert in your field and your sacred calling and what you do in your life and your business or in your creative project, etc. And this Jupiter ruling this is in the 3rd house of mind and the mental place, all the ideas, the synthesis of information, the bringing in of information, transmitting information and receiving. You know, the mind is a receiving tower, it's a transmitter, it's an interpreter, but it doesn't create. And so this Jupiter is like understanding the resource of your mind and how do you narrate things? Are you narrating them for your empowerment? Are you narrating things as you are the leader? You have something of value. You are valuable. You are amazing. You know, all of the amazing good things about you, and standing in that place of reverence and honor for yourself and love for yourself. And this is this semi-sextile to Jupiter in your 12th. So there's some past life things that are probably provoked with this full moon. There's probably some past life wounds or traumas that are surfacing and present, and also possibly some energetic work to do. 12th house is really indicative of the other dimensions. And so energetic, the invisible realms, like, are you getting Reiki? Are you doing healing in the energetic realms? And, you know, anybody can make a hamburger, anybody can do Reiki, but there's wizards, people who are absolutely masterful at it. One of my friends is absolutely masterful with it and she's like basically a divine healer in the energetic and invisible realms. So social media, message me, and I can get you in touch if you need that work. But it's like bringing up some past life stuff to be clear, to heal. And it's related, like standing in your expertise, standing in your leadership, taking up space in this world and owning that is related to clearing out some of these old wounds. And it may just be something that's not really conscious, you can't put your finger on, but that you know is there, that's energetic, and then in the invisible realms. And this Jupiter Uranus conjunction in your 3rd house. So this is going to culminate and be a conjunction next April, May. But Jupiter and Uranus are co-present in Taurus in your 3rd house for this next year. This is benefic. This is exciting. This is really powerful and magical. And this is a lots of opportunity and innovation, experimentation, and awakening. And so this is going to awaken you in the area of intellectual property, like your ideas that you sell and make money off of, your intellectual property, like what you own, that you create your own ideas. In business, we create intellectual property that we own the rights to, and that is often what we are selling. It's your book, your words, your copy, you know, it's all of that kind of stuff. It's communication, connections, it's your local environment. And there's just so much beautiful connections to be had here. So this is like an energy that's rolling out for a year for you, Pisces, where there is so much opportunity, and you have to jump on the opportunities. You have to do them. So overrate your intuition. So you get the message and then the mind comes in. And, you know, I do this too, where it's like, I'm very skilled in this area, but there's just, the mind can swing in so fast and sharp, and it seems like it makes sense. It seems like it's rational and logical, but it's like, no, like trusting that the way to your goal, like say you have a goal here and your intuition says to do this thing that wants to throw you off your goal, and your mind's like, don't do it, that's not, we're off track, blah, 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 blah. It's like realizing that it's not A plus B equals C. It's the ABC come out, it's like A, Z, D, like they all just come out of the ethers when you're doing ABC. So in the linear world, you see you're kind of doing ABC, and then all of the magic comes out of the ethers because you're taking action, you're putting energy out there, you're doing things. And so realize that, trust that intuition, don't let your mind override it. And it's in that protection message saying that, like, you've been doing that lately, you're letting your mind override it. And so how can you get your mind wrangled back in control? There's this fearless expression card coming up and a protection message. So there's a lot of fear around expressing yourself, or the way you come off, or being your authentic self, or being this vision of what you want yourself to be. And it's like being this fearless expression. So just express, be on the journey of it, let it evolve, let it grow, let it evolve over time, and just be this amazing person that you are. And be in the artisticness of it all. Like let even you and your expression be art. And this is the third house stuff, expression. So your expression. So there's expansion coming for you over this year of your expression of yourself. So there's this expansion that is amazing coming for you. You are the muse. So it's coming through you. Like you are the one that's inspiring and uplifting and encouraging others. You're the one that's sparking the light in others to awaken. Limitations inspire innovation. So remember the word inspire and innovate, and see if you can make any sort of limitations you feel less prominent, and make the inspire and innovations more prominent. Like, where are you using the resourcefulness that you have within you, which is that Taurus in the third house. So the resourcefulness of your mind, the resourcefulness of what you channel through, the resourcefulness of what's within you to overcome any so-called limitation. You have balance, and balance is not equality or equilibrium. It's a constant course correction. Like when I'm in handstand, balancing in a handstand, my hands are constantly moving, but they're moving at such micro ways that no one would really notice, but my body is constantly balancing. So balance is not the static states. When you're static, you're stagnated. So it's always this moving and evolution. And it's a hard one to come out. Iris, she who changes, and she's got the snake of the ancient goddess symbolism for regeneration and renewal and wisdom, and then the crescent moon as well for Inyana, goddess Inyana. I don't know why I can't say that today. But anyways, the original goddess that was just goddess, and then we had like all of these goddesses that came out of her, which is not necessarily a negative thing. Everything is shadow and light, but it kind of fractured like all of the many facets of the feminine into these different goddesses. And it's like Inyanya was the original goddess, and this crescent moon, that symbolism as well, like she who changes, transformation, change, enchantment. So there's this deep, like, be enchanted with your own journey and your own transformation. There's just this deep, profound transformation happening right now, this leveling up. And Taurus, like, she was present. Be in this present moment. Like you have your future vision, but then set it down and then focus on the now of the creation. And it's just a step at a time. Like, be in this now moment. What's in this now moment for you? And there's, acceptance. Like, what do you need to accept in this moment? And I'm not talking about accepting any bullshit or abuse or anything that's not okay. But I mean, like, maybe you're in some sort of angst at the moment internally, and it's like, instead of just trying to like get out of it, can you just be with it for the moment and accept where you're at and be like, okay, all right. And that presence and now momentness is what transforms us. and helps us move through whatever it is that's there, because that angst may be the message that have a really important message for you. And I pulled you another card, Eterna, she who becomes, metamorphosis, transcend, journey. Like, you got all of these cards about metamorphosis and all the colors in this and all of the like spirals and different things she has coming off of her. And it's like she's floating through the water, like ethereal. And there's just like, there's something popping here, Pisces. There's something big popping off for you. Man, that conjunction next year, I'll tell you what, that conjunction is on my Venus. I'm like excited. On my Mercury and my Venus, I'm really excited. Like, I have a baby being born, a creative baby being born next April, May. Not that there's not like every fucking day, but I'm trying to like deal with all these creative babies. But it's just like this, there's just like this metamorphosis, this transformations, like be in the journey of it, have fun moment to moment of it. I just feel compelled to pull more cards. Pull more cards for you, Pisces. What wants to come up? Pearl, she who rises up. Yeah. Empower, uplift, elevate. Not only is that your job as a starseed, as a divine feminine soulpreneur, as an audacious feminine entrepreneur, as a visionary woman, as a creative, as a wild woman, but also it's this it's just this natural thing that you do to shine light, but also you must do it for yourself and let yourself be elevated. And it looks like she has Capelli tattooed on her. I don't know if that's Capelli or not, but it's just like, it's like that pan or that Capelli where it's like dance, song, music, like sexual energy. And it's just that energy of being in the moment and the creation and the sensuality and intuition and the flowing and the transforming and the like letting it all flow and move. So all right, y'all. I'm sending you so much love. If you'd like to find out more about Light Goddess, you can do that at the link below. Also, the Light Goddess podcast has nearly 500 episodes all about women, running business, the spiritual journey, and how to deal with our emotions and healing and all of that. And so you can get that at the link below. It's almost 500 episodes. Subscribe on iTunes or Spotify. And if you'd like to book a pick your price reading with me, you can do that at thegoddessastrologer.com. Sending you all so much love.